Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to KUMBTV's Eyes Up Mother Brown. West Ham United versus Everton. There were but four left to go. And here we are. Massive chance for the Hammers to push on this afternoon against the Toffees and make it home and away when we are, of course, running fashionably late as usual. My fault again entirely. And so we're going to crack on straight away. We're going to go over to, first of all, let me say hello to everybody. It's how remiss of me. Hello, Mr. Pink Palermo.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, Gnome, Mr. Thrower.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Rio.
Evening.
We're going to go straight over to Gnome for the teams. Gnome.
All right, teams. We're going to do teams, are we? Yeah, why not? Right, easy for us. We're unchanged, which leaves us lining up as follows. Fabianski, Soufal, Dawson, Diop, Cresswell, Souček, Lanzini, Fornals, Lingard, Benrahma and Antonio. And on the bench, we have Balbuena, Yarmolenko, Bowen, Ogbonna, Fredericks, Johnson, Randolph and Odubeku and Coventry, which means for the first time that I can remember in quite some time, just the one goalkeeper on the bench. So, yes, goodness gracious. What will they think of next? Everton line up as follows. Pickford, Coleman, Godfrey, Mina, Keane, Dean, Davis, Allen, Sigurdsson, Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. On the bench, they have Holgate, Delph, King, Doucouré, who many were expecting to actually make a start, Iwobi, Nkunku, Bernard, Andre Gomes and Olsen. Today's referee is Stuart Atwell. There you go.
Excellent, great stuff. Thank you, Gnome, for those for the teams this afternoon. Unchanged West Ham. You prompted, actually beat me to it there. When was the last time we could say that? Any idea?
Can't remember. Rio, no, he always knows.
Rio, any ideas?
No, nothing. No, it was earlier this season, wasn't it? We've done it a couple of times this season.
Yep.
It's a pretty unique thing for us, isn't it? I know, but
yeah, it is. It certainly is, and is that no doubt prompted by a lack of available personnel rather than choice? I would suggest.
Yeah, this time definitely. It's actually like we've actually got options on the bench for a change, which is a massive surprise. The other surprise is that Gnome, as I know, is a massive QI fan. Really withheld of his Everton team pronunciation, because if he had alternated the two midfielders, he would have come up with a QI stalwart. But no, well done, Gnome. Very professional.
What we're looking at, sorry, Alan Davis. Yes. Yeah, funny enough, actually, while I was reading those out, I actually sort of had an image of a curly-haired Arsenal tramp beating up Arsenal supporter in my head as it went through. So, but I thought if I actually said Alan and Davis, there might be klaxons going off in the background. Yeah, so I passed on that. Funny enough, they've moved it now, but for some time, I used to be a guest occasionally. Well, I haven't been for a while, but I guessed on the Stop Hammer Time podcast with Phil Withens and Jim Grant, which used to be recorded in the same offices as the QI. They've actually got offices somewhere. I think it's near Covent Garden, with the QI logo on the door and everything. So,
have you upset the Hammer Time team lately? No, you haven't been on for a while now.
I haven't been on for a while. Not to my knowledge. As I say, I always used to joke that they always had me on when they couldn't get anybody interesting on instead. So, and by and large, they've had interesting people on. So
they have.
If there's anything more to it than that, at least they haven't told me so.
All right, fair enough. Well, we expect an invite then, no doubt, in the next few weeks as a result. Mr. Palermo, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'm good, and really looking forward to this afternoon's game, because we'll find out how much we really want it this afternoon. You know, I think the supporters are genuinely excited about the prospect of European football. I hope the players are too. And, you know, consistent with my theme of the manager just gets on with it, you know, regardless of what he's got available. Hopefully he's got the message through to the players. You're the 11 that start. You're the 11 that need to win the game. And and win the game, I think we most certainly do need to do that, because it's very tight there around the top. The Chelsea result yesterday didn't do us any favours, that's for sure.
No,
but I have
didn't,
a
did it?
sneaking feeling that poor old Brendan Rodgers at Leicester City just might be having a bit of a wobble that we could exploit. So.
Yeah, proposed as the manager of the season last week, but the wheels are sort of falling off. I nearly said Filbert Street's the King Power Stadium now, of course, isn't it? Massive defeat for them. I mean, what a surprise! What a surprise! We sat here last week and we was, yourself and Rio were predicting how you felt the rest of the season was going to play out. I don't think anyone thought that Leicester would go down at home to Newcastle, but smashed off the park, weren't they? 4-0 down at one stage. Unbelievable.
An absolute tonking they had, and it just goes to show in this league this season, strange results can happen. And if we're talking managers of the season, I don't think there's a stronger candidate than David Moyes.
Yeah,
I think the only one that runs them anywhere close would be Marcelo Bielsa at Leeds United, who dare I say it, I think an awful lot of our supporters, if we were looking for a manager, and do you know what? They've played some nice football this season, Leeds United, and that so as a kind of reward, I'm no longer going to refer to them as dirty Leeds. I think Bielsa has done that this season up there, and it's classic all-out attack, but there are a few places below us in the table.
Well,
slightly more pragmatic Moyes approach might get us into the Champions League. So what do we really want?
Yeah, that's a good point. But I mean, they certainly played some sexy football this weekend, because they did us a bit of a favour, didn't they? With another great result.
Yeah, and again, this is sound very disloyal to the famous West Ham, but I actually make a point of watching Leeds now when they're on, because it's good stuff.
Yeah,
it's good stuff by and large. I mean, look at the defending is sort of like you're looking through your fingers a touch, but going forward, if you could imagine that Leeds United team with Cavani instead of Bamford. And Bamford's a player I like, but actually I reckon he needs 2 chances for everyone that Cavani would need. Where would they be in that table if they actually had a really top draw, dead cert goal scorer, up top? So hats off to Bielsa, but hats off to David Moyes, because he's taken the thinnest squad I can recall at West Ham United. He's put through some great results. He's managed an adversity, with key players like Ogbonna being out, Declan Rice being out, Antonio being out. Yeah, and here we are, still hot on the heels of Chelsea and Leicester City. And a win today piles the pressure on Leicester for sure.
God, doesn't it just? And of course, it looked like we had the Leicester defeat, we had the Tottenham defeat. It looked like being the perfect weekend, Gnome. And then Man City, what happened?
Bonkers.
Let us down.
Before I comment on that, I'd just like to rewind one week. And when you were saying just now, who'd have thought that Newcastle would turn over Leicester? I think you'll find if you look at last week's recording, the answer to that question was me. I said it was a definite possibility. Stranger things had happened, I said. So, but yeah, Man City. I mean, what the hell was going on there? When did players stop doing the Panenka and start doing the Lookman?
It's shocking. I mean, what about the penalty? I mean, what was going on? I mean, it looked like he was trying to miss to me. It was bizarre.
He was just trying to be it's my last few weeks here. Wouldn't it look good if I stuck one of those in, and
shocking.
Yeah,
I mean, the point, of course, is, I mean, we can laugh about it, but it could be one of those, much vaunted turning points in terms of West Ham's season. Score that Man City, go 2-0 up, almost certainly, not going to get beaten. And here we are, now it looks like Leicester are the team we've got to catch rather than Chelsea.
I think, though, I mean, it was a kind of surprise result, but then Chelsea have beaten Manchester City this season already. And it's. I think they're one of the teams that might have that sort of little bit of an evil eye on them. I think realistically, and the way Chelsea have been playing in recent weeks, I mean, not that I'm looking much forward, but in terms of teams to catch up and overtake, I think it was always going to be Leicester would be the one of those, particularly in view of their remaining games. But you know, but
yeah,
you know, having said that, I'll say that they're I think Chelsea were pretty likely to be top four. And I think realistically, as I say, us and Leicester are the other ones. That
well, I mean, especially on the Tuchel, who's doing a
I'm not going I'm not thinking about Champions League. I'm just going to say, where can we be after this game? And look at moving up a position.
Yeah, well, let's hope we're further away from Liverpool, which was the other game, of course. Rio this weekend. It looked like at one point Southampton might hold out for a point there. It was 0-0 for a while, but pretty standard win for Liverpool, and that puts them just a point behind the Hammers. Really need to win today, don't we? To sort of put some space between us and them as well.
Yeah, it's absolutely vital. All four of these games got remaining. We have to win. We can't be relying on other teams. We've just got to do our own thing, get results on the board, and put the pressure on them rather than the other way around. Liverpool result was disappointing. Aguero hoisted before a tribunal somewhere. But, it's down to us in the day. We've performed so well all season. Let's just keep the momentum going and let's just keep going for these games, putting wins on the board and booking our Eurostar.
Yeah, let's hope so. Well, of course, it's a big one today. I think we all sort of feel that out of the four remaining fixtures, this is probably the toughest one on paper. Of course, I would imagine the closer we get to the finishing line, each one is going to look increasingly difficult. But the teams are out on the pitch, and we're just about ready to start. So we need to crack on with our predictions. Let's get them in quickly before the match begins. I'll start with Pinky. What do you reckon, buddy?
Tough one, this, because we've got a great home record and Everton have got a terrific away record.
They have, haven't they? Fantastic.
They've got some firepower up top. Of that there's no doubt. So they'll certainly get at least one goal, possibly two. I'm going 3-2 to West Ham United today. I refuse to back the shorter priced draws and defeats and rubbish like that. No guts, no glory. 3-2 West Ham.
Not another 3-2. I'm sure we can take it right now, though. No, what do you reckon?
3-1.
West Ham?
Yep. Simple question, simple answer.
Nice. Okay. Sweet and to the point. Like it. Rio, what do you reckon?
I'm on borderline terrified stakes at the moment. And because of our track record against Everton in the past, I'm going to have to go put the optimism down a notch, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 defeat.
Ooh, 2-1 defeat, says Rio. Okay.
Every week.
Fine then. Letting the side down, Rio. No, it's good to have a bit of realism every now and again because it's been a very, very strange season as far as that goes. I'm going to go for a win. I'm totally with what Pinky says as far as keeping a clean sheet. We're just not likely to do it. We don't look likely to do it at the moment. So Everton are almost certainly going to score, I would imagine, at some stage. But I think we'll prevail here. I can see us nabbing it 2-1 because we don't tend to win by more than one goal, do we? If you look at the stats this season, it's been a quite a rare thing. But Pinky made the point, actually, and a very good point it was about Everton's away form. 10 away wins already this season. Quite incredible form. But, of course, let's not forget that Leicester came to Stratford a few weeks ago with a very similar away record. And I think it was only one defeat, wasn't it, away all season prior to our meeting, and we managed to put an end to that little run. So fingers crossed we can do it again. Anyway, as I said, the teams are out. We're almost ready to go. Have we kicked off on live TV land and not dodgy stream land?
No, it's the knee has just been taken and we've kicked off now.
Okay,
Everton kicking from right to left as we look on the TV screen towards the Bobby Moore end of the stadium.
Okay.
Just got a very important thing because some people have come up on the YouTube thing, and also my darling Lou has also mentioned it. Please tell them, because people are asking. It is a prog t-shirt. It's an IQ US Tour t-shirt. So just put people's minds at rest.
We are saved.
Yeah.
All is well. All is well in the world of prog t-shirts. Yes, there you go. People were asking on the YouTube live stream if Gnome was wearing a t-shirt.
For those interested, I'm in a 5XL t-shirt. So there you go.
I've got all their albums.
There is, so I've got two screens going. One says 37 seconds and another one says 29. So I'm going to shut that one down. We're going to look at this one. Where are you at, gentlemen?
We've just got a goal kick on 1 minute and 4 seconds, as I say that. So
right, that's not so bad. I'm only about 15 seconds behind today, then. So that's not too bad. But anyway, let us know what you think. Your predictions on the chat. Those of you watching us, let us know if you think the Hammers can come through this one and move to within 2 points of fourth place, Leicester City. And as Pinky was saying, put the pressure on Brendan Rodgers and his boys. We haven't really spoken about Everton, Rio. Calvert-Lewin, the main danger man, really there today, or Doucouré, key player for them, back in the starting lineup again today after a couple of months out.
No, it's not.
Yeah, they've got a lot of quality all over the pitch, though.
On the bench.
One of my favourites is
Thank you, gentlemen. Sorry, Rio. Ignore the second bit of that question. Let's just stick with Calvert-Lewin then. We'll talk about Doucouré. We'll park that one for when he comes on later.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm a massive fan of Sigurdsson.
Yes.
He's had a bit of a dodgy last 18 months or so up there, but the last few weeks he's really coming to his own again, stamping his authority on the game for Everton. And he's been part of their really good performances this season. Richarlison's full of pace, which could trouble Diop. And in the middle, I do like Tom Davies. He's not the most skillful player, but he's an all-action workhorse, and he does a job for him. Yeah, a decent setup. Now he's building a decent side there, Ancelotti. But I do worry that their pace against the likes against Diop and Dawson could be an issue today.
Yeah, well, we shall see what happens. Yeah, there's quite a lot of similarities, I think, if you look throughout the team. But what about you, Gnome? Who do you sort of look at in that team and think, that's a bit of a concern? Richarlison for you, or again, Sigurdsson, as Rio said, a great player, but perhaps not at his best at Everton.
Yeah, I'm very much with Rio on that. I've always been a fan of Sigurdsson's. Ball played in the box, but we can't quite get on the end of it. Everton bring it away. Sigurdsson I've always rated. He's never quite been the full deal at Everton, and but he is a very, very skillful player, and I like to look at Richarlison's better than I thought he was when he was at Watford, and he moved to Everton. I thought that they were paying well over the odds for him, but he has improved. But he's more the player, obviously, Everton signed all those years ago. We'll come back to that. Creswell's going down the left wing, plays it into Benrahma, doesn't quite lay the ball off properly, and Everton can bring it away. And they'll get a free kick for that as Allen sort of bursts through the middle. Lingard tries to get back at him and then brings him down. So free kick to Everton. I guess about 10 yards into our half if they call back. That was about maybe 15, 20 yards into our half. They'll move forward a little bit from there, no doubt. Just think they're looking for a ball at the moment. There's nobody. They're all stood around, sort of waiting to sort of take this free kick, and so one vital piece of equipment missing at this point. So I think they've got one now. So everybody's lined up along the edge, just that 5 yards outside the box, and that's Sigurdsson on the ball now. So see how much of a threat he's going to be. So just wait for it to be taken. Yeah,
with bated breath everywhere.
Crossed in, Diop heads wide for a corner. So corner to Everton, first corner of the game. It's on the Everton left. Let's have a look at this. And the West Ham defence dropped back to play the Everton. The 3 or 4 offside before it was taken, if you see what I mean, by the time it was taken. Oh, we've got the goals from corners this season because Everton have scored as many as we have. So there's that.
Hey.
It's an early and unexpected arrival for that stat. So, corner to Everton anyway. We're just waiting for it to be taken, and Sigurdsson is on the ball again. I'm guessing he's going to be on the ball for most of the dead balls. Corner comes in, swung in. Oh, nodded across, but it's cleared away by Souček for another corner the other side. Good corner, this one.
The first header was by Dawson, I think.
Yard box.
Then Souček cleared it with a second header for a second corner. I quite like that. Good no-nonsense defending. If in doubt, put it out and just defend the next play.
Yeah. Very good, dangerous corner, that one. Swung into the middle of the 6-yard box. Same from the other side, and Souček might have been able to let that one go, but better safe than sorry. Heads it out for a corner, and it's back over this side. So for 3 corners in quick succession.
There was a really important header on that first one from Souček, actually, because Calvert-Lewin was closing in on the far post, looked ready to pounce, and absolutely needed to get there first.
Anyway, corner now taken. Played longer this time at the back of the 6-yard box. Calvert-Lewin tries to head it back into the 6-yard box, but gets his geography and his bearings all wrong, and it goes out harmlessly for a goal kick. But those corners, you can see why they've got 9 goals this season from corners. If they're all that, with the exception of the last one, if they're all on that spot, they are very difficult to defend against.
Yeah, very, very well drilled as a team. No doubt. Shane Brown, we're talking about Everton players. Shane Brown says that Seamus Coleman is classed and underrated. The Everton captain, of course, today was one of those fullbacks who's come through the ranks, I guess. The Moyes was pretty good. David Moyes was pretty good at producing during his time over there as well. But a good side. Now, do you think, Rio? Do you think that Everton have underperformed this season? We're looking at the team, say decent player, good player. Should they be doing better under Ancelotti?
Potentially. I mean, they had a really good start, then dropped off. But I think they suffer a little bit like us. Once you take away the first 5 or 6 players, there's not a lot of strength in depth there.
Right.
You take away Calvert-Lewin. Where's their big main striker then? We're 2 very similar clubs, and particularly this season now. I mean, like I said, Ancelotti's done a really good job, but it is the strength in depth that is costing them.
Yes, definitely suffered the same as we have to. It's talking about strength in depth. Just a quick look at West Ham's bench today. I mean, if you missed the start, the team is exactly the same as it was last week for the win at Burnley. But on the bench, we've got Darren Randolph, 1 goalkeeper, as Gnome pointed out, for the first time in a while. Just 1 keeper on the bench. Ryan Fredericks, Johnson, and so Bonner on the bench. Balbuena, Coventry, Bowen, Yarmolenko, and Adebika. So, Gnome, looking at that, we have got some options today, haven't we? There are. It's not like we're looking at that bench and Moyes will be looking at that bench sort of around the 65, 70-minute mark and thinking, oh God, who am I going to bring on now? Or, what options have I got?
There's more proper first team experience on the bench than we've had of for many a week, I think. So just break off there. We just had a free kick. Sorry, I thought Antonio got away from his marker there, but just played it out. Antonio was fouled for the free kick, but nothing came of it. It was about 10 yards into the Everton half. But it was a case of the ball was played up to him. He held it up well, and the Everton defender, I didn't quite see who it was, just basically clattered through the back of him. So Atwell let it run for half a second to see where the ball was going, but we got the free kick. So, what were we saying? Sorry, what was the original question? Because I cut to the game.
No idea. I can't remember. No idea. Well, let's move on. Let's move. If it springs to mind, we'll come back to it. But 10 minutes down anyway, West Ham United 0, Everton 0 at the London Olympic Stadium. West Ham, of course, need a win if they're to keep up with the top 4. Leicester faltering at the moment. Chelsea going great guns. So it looks like it's going to be the Foxes or the Hammers, or maybe even Liverpool, an outside bet to grab that fourth Champions League spot, the way things are going. We haven't had a look at the forums yet so far, so we'll go in there in just a few minutes. But just to let you know that Rio is, as always, keeping an eye on the KUMB.com forum, the match thread. And today we are looking at Grand Old Team, the Everton forum, which the Pink Palermo is keeping a beady one on for us. We'll be going to those very, very shortly. Before we do that, I want to say a big hello to our fellow KUMB moderator, DL, who hasn't been with us for the last few weeks, as you'll be aware, and is undergoing a pretty major op this week in hospital. Had it earlier this week, so I'd just like to send our best wishes from all the lads here, and I'm sure all of you on the stream to DL, and wishing him a very, very speedy recovery, and probably enjoying the peace and quiet at the moment, I would imagine, to a degree. Of course, I don't think you're allowed any visitors in there, but hopefully, DL, you're able to tune in and watch the Hammers this afternoon. You never know, you might be watching us. That would be a stressful thing, I would imagine. So I'm keeping an eye on this at the same time as talking. Never good. Gnome.
Yeah, sorry, Antonio did well to get down the left there, pulled the cross back, couldn't locate a teammate with the cross, but
yeah,
it was a good break after some good defensive work by Dawson to break up an attack. Just stood firm and took the ball off Richarlison. And I've noticed a couple of times that, sorry, Everton bring the ball away now, but when the ball's played up to Antonio with his back to goal, Everton are having problems with that. They've given away a couple of fouls as he holds it up. And that could be interesting to watch, because at the moment it seems like they don't quite know how to play him when he's got that. So if they give him space to turn, there could be some interesting breaks on.
Okay, keep an eye on that one. Just noticed Manuel Lanzini going to ground in a slide tackle, something you don't see that often these days, and something, of course, that Mr. Alan Pardew would have fined him for. Quite famously, Pards used to fine his players for sliding in, and especially when they didn't get the ball. Back in the day, one of Chocolate's many strange rules that he had during his time at the club. But the big question, of course, is, I've lost it now. What's monkey tape?
Sorry,
anyone? There's look at the advertising boards. It's gone now. We're seeing the No Room for Racism banner come up, but on the banners behind the pitch, I think it's this monkey tape, and I'm just sitting there thinking, what the hell's that? I've never even heard of it. Anyone? Any ideas? Anybody?
well, whenever you need to attach a monkey to something, I don't know. Is it like gorilla tape or something like that?
Is that what is it? Is it gorilla tape, not monkey tape?
Right. No, gorilla tape is this sort of hard.
Rio knows.
Done by the same people who do Gorilla Glass. It's now then. Antonio's got some space, plays the ball out wide to Soufal.
That's the one.
Control it. Ball comes across. It's a good cross from Soufal. Missed by everybody. Benrahma, it bounces. Benrahma needs to be another 2 foot taller really to control that one properly, but it's smuggled away by Everton for a throw in rather. Yeah, good cross from Soufal because Pickford didn't know where to come or go, and basically did neither. And as it comes across, Antonio tries to get up, but he's well marshalled by the defence there. Ball deep in Everton territory. Cross comes in from the left, but that's going to go straight to Pickford. So nothing comes of it. So, but yes, it's gorilla tape. It's the same people that do Gorilla Glass. It's heavy duty for when you want things to stay stuck to whatever it is you're sticking them to.
I see.
Gaffer tape on steroids.
I see. Rio, you were just holding a screen up. I couldn't quite read what it said. Something about athletes.
Yeah, it's serious tape with serious athletes, apparently.
Oh,
so unique blend.
Oh, it's not one
that never falls off. The best tape for all sports and athletes. So obviously, like, we're all wearing it off screen,
I'm none the wiser.
Peak physical condition, a lot of us.
You quite often see athletes now. It's that stuff. Then you see them like with a sort of, as Richarlison bursts into our box, Tries to get across him, but it's blocked by Diop. Corner to Everton. You quite often see, particularly in athletics, rather than less so in football, but a strip of tape down the back of somebody's leg, or
I see. Right? Yes.
Is it? Which is supposed to, you get trends, don't you, in football and athletics and things like that. Do you remember where you never saw a player without those silly little nasal strips?
Yes.
For a while, and then somebody proved that really didn't make an awful lot of difference, so they sort of faded out. It's that sort of thing with athletes.
Okay. If anyone's any experience of, sorry, Rio, go on.
Yeah, I thought it was like a tape for athletes. So during like the period when Robbie Savage was a Leicester player, the ex-Leicester manager might have taped him up and banned him up and locked him in the dressing room to shut him up. That's the only thing you need a tape for in athletics.
The corner was taken, by the way. Straight, Fabianski came and claimed it. West Ham on the attack down the left now. Whilst we're talking about taping things up, ball play back to Dawson. We go, and a bit of a scrappy first 16 and a half minutes or so. Neither team really sort of putting any sort of dominance in. Everton have had corners, of course, which statistically will make things look a little bit more or less even, shall we say. But really, neither side has got a grip on this so far, in my opinion.
I think it's a pretty fair one as well to say. Should we have some early stats? Why not? After 17 minutes. Possession, West Ham 58%, Everton 42. No shots, not a single shot from either side so far. But Everton have had 4 corners. Of course, they had 3 in quick succession. West Ham committing 1 foul to Everton's 2 so far. So, it's very much a game, really, Pinky, where both sides are kind of feeling each other out by the looks of it at the moment. No one really sort of pushing on and taking a gamble at this stage.
Yeah, but I think what we are seeing this week compared to last week is Everton are working considerably harder out of possession than Burnley did last week.
Yeah.
And I felt 1 or 2 of our players got free passes for most of the match last week and consequently looked, very good. I think it'll be interesting to see at the end of 90 minutes here today, if Everton keep up their work rate, 1 or 2 of our players who shone last week might not shine quite so brightly this.
Right. Yeah.
Now Fornals is on the right wing into the box, tries to get across him, but Davis, who'd given away a free kick from which that move started, basically gets the block in. It trickles through harmlessly to Pickford. Davis just gave away a free kick there. It's the sort that must infuriate a manager, as they always say, because Souček had tried to play a piercing ball that he overhit, but the fact that Davis came in half a second late to clatter Souček meant that West Ham got the ball back to start again. When if he hadn't made the challenge, Everton would have had the ball, and so it was a kind of daft one to give away, really.
More pertinently known, what's Tom Davis wearing in his hair?
Sorry, you're asking me.
Flower.
That's what I thought.
Flower.
That's what I thought, Rio. That's what I thought.
Yeah, well, your guess is as good as mine. It's a yellow card offence, whatever it is. So good work from Dawson there to intercept an Everton move as we bring the ball away. Nice ball inside there from Lingard. Fornals now plays it to Benrahma, who's got Antonio outside him, who's out on the left wing. Now Antonio cuts inside using cut inside using Cresswell as a decoy. Played a ball into the box, tantalisingly close to. I think Fornals was nearly got on the end of it. Everton managed to clear it, but West Ham go again, just beginning to put a little bit of pressure on now. That was very nearly that ball in from Antonio. It was just foot another way would be 1-0 up there. Antonio again, he's got a lot of room out on the wing now, but closed down this time, and it's cleared away for a throw-in.
Yeah, much better from West Ham. 20 minutes gone here. West Ham United 0, Everton 0. Must-win game for the Hammers this one if we're to keep up our Champions League hopes. David O'Rourke says it's flowers in Tom Davies's hair. agreeing with Rio and Steve Page. Steve, I actually need to get in touch with you about your little visit this week. I've just realised that I haven't replied to you, so I shall be in touch as soon as the game's finished. Says I'm thinking of something else, but it's kinesio. Is it kinesio? Kinesio tape that's used to support muscles, if I recall. The evidence is that it doesn't do much, but may help as a placebo. So there you go. No, it would be another one of your useless fashion sporting items then, in that case.
File alongside nasal strips. Yeah.
If anyone knows what Tom Davis is actually wearing in his hair, let us know. The most important point of the game, really, so far.
Lingard on the ball. Shot gets a couple of ricochets there. It's Benrahma keeps it alive, but Lingard was in some good space there. Crossed in from the right. Didn't quite fall for Lanzini there, and Everton now can bring it away on the break. Good little bit of spell there for West Ham, but suffering a bit with the luck there. A couple of ricochets did them no favours at all. And ball now is stuck in midfield, and Everton are playing it back to the back four. Let's say that little dip spell again, because Lingard got into a very, very good central position, got a shot away, and it seemed to take probably 2 deflections, maybe.
Yep.
I'm not quite sure where it ended up, but just little signs there that we can. A couple of balls we can try and find, which might prove useful. Everton on the break are not really sort of not really direct. They're not really being that direct, and they're not really sort of breaking with speed. I've said that now. Richarlison's got goal side of Cresswell, gets the cross. Cresswell half blocks, and it's cleared away by Souček to the edge of the box. And that's a great tackle from Lanzini on the edge of the box. And it's that 20. Davis was trying to work a shot there, but Lanzini taking his defensive duties very seriously, clearly at the moment.
Yeah, great tackle, great tackle. Everton fan, Event Triple X Horizon writes, Everton fan here. Remember watching a game at Upton Park in the 80s? Peter Reid and Graham Sharp won it for us that day. I think they seem to do that every year back then. But of course, Everton champions back in those days, one of the best sides in the country.
Oh, now then, 1-0 to Everton. It's a great ball through to Calvert-Lewin, who got goal side of his defender and slid past Fabianski, giving Fabianski no chance. Just as we thought West Ham were beginning to look at the game, it was a very, very good ball to see who played this. West Ham being very square. It's Dawson gets caught napping there, fails to track the run really. Who's that playing the ball there? Who's that playing the ball? I think that might have been 22. So that's Godfrey. Yeah, fine ball from Godfrey there. Good finish. 1-0.
West Ham in trouble. Pinky, not one of us thought that the Hammers were likely to keep a clean sheet here this afternoon. We were kind of hoping, I guess, that Everton wouldn't score first, but that's the way it's transpired. 24 minutes, West Ham United 0, Everton 1.
Yeah, and an excellent finish from Calvert-Lewin. One chance, one shot, one goal. To be fair, Dawson was having a real doze there, and I'm afraid. A player that's been capped for England and scored for England, you'd expect him to take that chance, and Calvert-Lewin didn't disappoint. Truth be told, I mean, we've had our moments as well, so let's not be too down about it. And just going back to the point that Gordon was making about Everton not breaking at pace, I was very surprised a couple of minutes ago, when they did start to break forward, how slow their midfield was at actually getting forward. I mean, positively pedestrian. As Lingard's on the ball, gets to the Everton box, puts the ball across, he must be offside.
Right, playing on.
Played on, but he was a mile off.
I think the bones out of that one. I think we got a corner out of it. It was a good move from West Ham. Lingard sort of good ball out to Benrahma, who yeah, basically didn't have many options in there, but elected to shoot, which probably might not have been the greatest option, but came off the defender's knee. So that's West Ham's first corner.
Yeah.
Where's that stat when you need it? So Cresswell's out. Corner to West Ham on the West Ham left. Cresswell is out there to take it. And sort of running around the box. Cross corner comes across. Cleared as far as Fornals, who scuffs his shot, but finds Lingard in a good position. Gets a shot away, but it's blocked. Still Lingard crosses in, headed clear by Everton.
Oh no!
Referee. Well, I'm hoping VAR is going to have a look at that because as Everton outbreak and they are breaking with speed, but Antonio just flattened there. Well, he instantly waved it away, but now he's given a free kick to Everton. Richarlison, who's gone down a couple of times with little prompting today, he's now sort of holding his knee on the floor. But let's have a look at this. Ball's headed in. What? Well, that looks just like he's. Let's have a look at it again. He's been clattered. He's been shoved in the back, Antonio. Yeah. That's a penalty for me.
Well, we'll have to assume that VAR aren't looking at it anyway, but it's one of those where I think you'd say, Rio, if it happened anywhere else on the pitch,
that's just a bad decision.
Yeah, you'd be very disappointed. The worst thing is they've gone straight up the other end, and Richarlison's bought a cheap free kick here.
Yeah,
which Sigurdsson's standing over. And as I said, he's been in decent form the last few weeks. And he has known to be hit the odd free kick in from this kind of distance in the past. So just lining it up at the moment. Goes to take. It's a good effort and a great save by Fabianski. Yeah, great free kick there from Sigurdsson. Made Lucas dive across to his left, his right, tip it over the bar. But yeah, it's just disappointing. As you said, if it'd been anywhere else on the pitch, it'd definitely been a free kick to us. But it was quickly waved away by the referee, not even mentioned to VAR. So, yeah, it's one of those things.
Pinky, I think I heard you say no at the time.
Is again going to
Sorry, Rio. Sorry.
Everton just about taking on a corner, Sigurdsson to take, puts into the centre of the box, but headed away, thankfully. And now on the break, hopefully, then Fornals has picked the ball up, slides it down the left-hand side. Nice interchange of play. Souček has the ball, fields out wide right to Soufal. Into Lanzini. And into Antonio Lanzini. Lanzini runs into 2 or 3 bodies there.
Poor ball for
Antonio. Yeah, nothing there.
Just going back to that chance a few moments ago, Pinky. I think you said no when there was a couple of cries of penalty. Was that how you saw it?
Very, very much so. I mean, it's Antonio's fall to the ground was a little bit too theatrical, and he looked straight at the ref with a kind of any chance, ref. Yeah. And it was one of those looks that I don't think he really believed in, even himself, Antonio, that it was a penalty. Okay. So for me, no, not a pen.
Okay. So we're kind of split here in the amongst the team, but we're pretty much half hour through now. It's West Ham United 0, Everton 1. It's not going the way. We need this one to go, Gnome, is it?
Corner comes in. Calvert-Lewin heads down, and the clearance is completed. Ball's out now with Lanzini, who's looking to get a cross in. Crosses deep. Antonio's there, lets it run. And, not sure that's a shot or whatever. Lingard had a shot from our left-hand side, tried to curl it in the far post, but well wide. Antonio, I think, it's Diop actually got a call there. And, it's Lingard tried to be clever and curl it in the far post, but a couple of yards there. But
never going to
score
West
Ham, the goal apart, Everton haven't really sort of been sort of dominating us. Yeah, the free kick there, which all things being equal, wouldn't have been given. But since the goal, West Ham have been pushing forward with a fair bit of intent. No panic at the moment, and we're 30 minutes and 30 seconds gone. In case you want the time check, and West Ham tidy up a bit of a loose end at the back there. Soufal plays it away down the line. Comes back a bit. Great tackle from Souček. Ball played now down the line by Everton to Richarlison. And thought a bit for a second with somebody right behind him. You could tell he was thinking, can I go down? But he settled for the throw.
Okay. So there we are. 31 minutes. West Ham 0, Everton 1. Just going back, Rio, quickly to Jesse Lingard, outstanding for West Ham pretty much since he came to the club. Been a bit quiet though the last few weeks. Not quite on it for you.
No, not at all, Mal. I think the change of personnel in the middle was not helped him the last couple of games. And on Tuesday night against Burnley, Wednesday night, whenever it was, his role was slightly different, and it was more about creating space for others to run into. Yeah. I thought Lanzini and Fornells both really benefited from that the other night. But he has been a little bit off the boil, but his pedigree shines through, and hopefully he'll bounce back on it as soon as possible, because we really need him in this run-in, and particularly to turn this game around. But he's looks to be playing a different role to you, a little bit different to normal again, and it doesn't suit his natural attacking flair and instincts.
Yeah, that's for sure. No.
Well, Everton had a corner there where I think Dino was put off by Calvert-Lewin jumping in front of him, and it just flicked off him, went out for a goal kick. And just saw an attack come to an end where the referee said it was an okay challenge, I think, on Lingard. Now, I think we'll get a free kick this time round as Davis goes in yet again. That's the second time, ref.
With a flower in his hair.
It's a ribbon of some sort. But
we should actually put that one to the Everton fan who's on the stream, Event XXX Horizon, Event Horizon. If you do know what your man's wearing in his hair, let us know. Does he wear it every week? Who knows? Reveal all if you do.
Just make a note in your diaries. I'm about to give Ben Rama a bit of praise here, because the first challenge that he's just gone in for there, absolutely committed, willing to go in where it hurt. Yeah. And if he does that, he'll get less criticism from me. So he's actually got in there. Yeah, ended up winning the free kick. But I've called him out in the past for perhaps being a bit lightweight. There, in he went, and a bit more of that, please. Not all the time, Ben Rama, because that's not really your job. But sometimes you got to do the dirty stuff.
Souček. Still got the ball, but Souček. There was Lingard was in great position there, and now I think this is going to be given as a goal kick, but I think Benrahma got caught on the way through there. But there was Souček just didn't look around. He played it back the way it came, and Lingard behind him was screaming for it in space there. Just one of those things where you don't hear it, you don't hear the call until after you played the ball, I think. Still West Ham having a decent amount of possession. I'm sure you got the stat there, and
I have 57% so far.
Yeah, it's being played largely in the Everton half. And said that long clearance from Pickford, and it's in. Some great goalkeeping there from Fabianski. Bitroot won there, and Sixon got a shot in, and Fabianski saved, and then also saved the rebound. And West Ham now bring it away from Lanzini, who's fouled there, surely. Well, apparently not. Atwell's not having a good game here, I must admit, even for him. Everton get a cross in. It's pulled back, though, behind everyone. West Ham try and play it away again. Lanzini was clearly fouled there. Or there was no question of it. And it was just waved to play on. We're back up in the Everton half again. It's probing, trying to find a bit of space, but Everton are actually
closing that space down quite well at the moment. It's good defending from visitors. Soufal are looking for some help, and he's got Fornals on the right hand side. Again, there's no sort of gaps there. We're just having to play it back to keep possession. Lingard now plays it out towards the left. Cresswell's looking there, gets a cross in, and that might have been left for the keeper. Dean played safe and cleared it out, and it's a bit unfortunate when Benrahma comes off Benrahma's back for an Everton throw. It was Mina, sorry, not Dean. Mina and Pickford, lack of communication there. But, having a look at them, it's Richarlison rather than Sigurdsson. Richarlison gets the shot in, and basically Fabianski saves well. First one, it comes back out. Richarlison's sniffing for the rebound, and basically it's some great goalkeeping from Fabianski. Richarlison throws himself down, of course, clutching his leg, but it's good goalkeeping. He's made the save there. And,
it looks to me, actually, no, we've seen that 3 or 4 times already. Richarlison doesn't look quite comfortable. I don't know if there's sort of a niggle or something he's suffering with there, but that's 3 or 4 times now he's sort of not pulled up, but looked a little bit pained anyway. At the end of a run or something.
I think if he thinks he can get something when he goes down, there's a part of he'll grab his leg or his knee there. I think he was trying to insinuate that Fabianski had fouled him there, which it hadn't. He clearly blocked the ball, but there's a bit of that with Richarlison. It's not unknown with him, shall we say.
West Ham struggling a little bit, Rio, right now as we rapidly approach half time. 37 minutes gone. West Ham United 0, Everton 1 at the London Olympic Stadium. It'd be nice to get a goal back before half time, but I guess key right now would be not to concede a second. And, Everton have sort of shown signs of doing that, haven't they? Scoring another.
Yeah, Everton seem to be doing a similar job that Newcastle did to us at St James's Park.
Yeah.
Quite content to let us kind of go at them, hit us on the counter. And when they're defending solid banks. They're really hard to get in behind and break down. And the chances that we have kind of created, nothing's been substantial. It's nothing clear cut. It's all been a little bit frustrating so far. Just going back to Richarlison, you've mentioned that he looks a little bit ill at ease.
Yeah.
He's also wearing those dubious under socks, isn't he? Which I think indicate he might be either nursing a muscle injury or just a big pansy. But
can you say that these days?
Nursing the pansy that Davis is growing in his hair. Now then, ball comes in from the left, and it's again the final ball from West Ham is not finding a West Ham player. West Ham begin to pile on a little bit of pressure here. Soufal's out on the right. Fornals turns, gets across it. Oh, that should have been the equaliser. That really, really should have been the equaliser. Perfect ball in from Fornals. It's a good turn from Fornals. And, it's a free header at the back, and it's just headed it. Right idea, back the way it came, but you've got to keep those down, Benrahma.
He knows it. You can see by the look on his face, he knows that should be nestling in the back of the net. A lovely cross from Fornals. Fornals' reaction is absolutely incredible, Pinky. I don't know if you saw that on the replay, but we know he's quite animated when West Ham score a goal, but he's thrown himself to the turf in almost disgust there at that miss. But what a chance for West Ham. That's the one we were talking about.
At this level, that's a criminal miss. It really is. You're not going to get many free headers, 7 or 8 yards out against this Everton team, that's for sure. And, okay, let's give him some credit. He got himself into good space, and let's credit Fornals for picking him out. So some good play by West Ham there, but you've got to score, and that's the moment. If we're looking back on this in an hour's time, going one of those oh-so nears, well, that was the chance there to equalise. But, a bit more promising, I think, from us, in the last sort of few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping them penned in. Some good work for Antonio there, but nice little layoff in the air from Antonio. The layoff, the run from, I think it was Fornals, went running in, but didn't get anywhere. Now Antonio's lost it, and we don't need to lose it as Everton come away with pace.
Yeah, it's
right here, but Dawson this time tracks the runner Calvert-Lewin and steps in and takes the ball away, and Lingard can bring it away now.
Pinky, we were saying, weren't we? We were talking positively about Ben Rama last week. Had a really decent game up at Burnley, but you know, they're the ones you've got to put away.
You've got to, and I'm a bit reluctant to get too stuck into him because, as I say, he got himself into good space, you know, and so give him the credit for that. But it's the sign of a player who actually isn't that hot on confidence at the minute. You know,
we've got a worry.
Just think, in it goes.
We've got an injury worry at the moment. Lanzini is on the floor, looking somewhat disconsolately down at his thigh.
Yeah, it's the right thigh and
right thigh. So
possible hamstring, maybe.
Yeah, which we seem to have hamstring epidemics, don't we?
We certainly do. Well, we've seen Declan Rice and Mark Noble in the stands. They're certainly not going to be able to come on, which is a shame because I'm sure either one of those would be a perfect replacement.
This is looking like Lanzini's end of Lanzini's day. Bowen's stripped and ready to come on. Usual thing with the sort of the tablet computer with Nolan sort of giving him sort of instructions, but I think that's Lanzini's day. His leg of his short is rolled up, and he's looking not too happy. So.
No, it's an interesting one because I mean, we speculated a few moments ago that it might be the hamstring, Gnome, but the physio kind of lifting the leg up and down, which might suggest it's more of a groin maybe or something like that. Rather than obviously you're not going to be moving the leg up and down like that if it's a hamstring injury.
Yeah. They really don't like Lanzini.
Oh yes, they don't want him to play again this season.
Yeah.
Anyway, first change of the day.
Yeah, 42 minutes gone. Bowen comes on for let's say the unfortunate Lanzini, who wasn't having a bad game really. It's just one of those ones where we could do without it, really.
Indeed. Yeah, another. I mean, Rio, Jared Bowen was going great guns, really, wasn't he? Until he sort of pulled out the side a couple of weeks ago, scored 3 successive games, really seemed to be on fire, and then sort of, seemed to be the fall guy a couple of weeks ago, among all the calls for Ben Rama to be brought back into the side.
Yeah, he was the obvious fall guy. He had one poor game where everything just didn't fall for him. Yeah. But he's one of these players that once he has been dropped, and he has been a couple of times this season, he's always come back firing and answered with a few goals. So let's just hope that carries on here. And I'd expect that Pablo Fornals to slide into the more central position that Lanzini's was holding, and Bowen to resume his usual duties playing as a wide-sided attacker. So it shouldn't hurt us too much, to be honest.
Yeah, pretty much a like for like. What's your view on that one, Pinky? I mean, in terms of the team setup, do you see much changing? Do you see that pretty much as a like for like?
No, because I think they're 2 very different types of player, and so we can debate whether it's the job they're being asked to do, but I actually think Lanzini going off is a real loss to us there now.
Yeah.
The player we brought on is not the is not the same type of player. So I don't know. I mean, it might give us something extra. You never know. I'm trying to be positive here, but I'm trying to think: have we really worked the Everton keeper yet? Properly worked him? I'm not sure that we have, and we need something from somewhere because the half-time whistle is going to go in 2 or 3 minutes, and we've now got Soufal down. He's had a bang on the head.
Yeah,
he'll be all right. He'll be okay. That's nothing. They're hard as nails, those boys, aren't they? He'll be up.
Always had an elbow in the head there.
Yeah, elbow on the top of the noggin there. Yeah. To be fair, Dini's got eyes only for the ball there. There's no It's not one of those ones look round and then go like that. It's yeah, one of those. Well, it's a foul. It's one of those natural fouls, if you like, rather than a deliberate attempt to injure. So 2 minutes of stoppage have been added on for the Lanzini injury. Meanwhile, Dini's probably going to go away now and probably needs surgery on his elbow, I suspect.
Yes, as I said, those Czech boys are made of strong stuff indeed. And, you know, you can tell when one of those guys goes down, you know, they're genuinely hurt. There's no faking it going on there. 2 minutes for West Ham to grab an equaliser before the break. Rio, what are you thinking? What do you reckon? Any chance of that?
Judging by the opening 45, I have no. Our one chance, a clear-cut chance, felt as Saeed, who fluffed his lines. I just think the half-time break will allow us to regroup, get in the change room. Moyes are trying to change the focal point of our attack. We've had Antonio drifting out wide quite often and not been a central target point. And it's really, we've really not created much. We're really not, like I think you said, we're not tested the keeper once. So we've really got to change our focus of attack and the way we do things.
No.
Good, potentially good move in there. That ball played in from Cresswell. Lovely little dummy from Lingard, who let the ball run and then span away to take the return. Which, if Bowen could have got the return to him, it'd have been in. But the return ball basically wasn't. It got cut out. It was far too easily cut out. Just one of those ones. That's what's let us down today so far. Is the final ball. That's half-time whistle, by the way. Bang on the 7 minutes. Our final ball has let us down today. We've got into good positions a number of times, and just that final cross has been cut out. The one time we did get a good ball in to find somebody in space, as we said, Benrahma was really should have buried that. Not ideal, especially with Lanzini going off. Not ideal, but this isn't a game where you're sitting there thinking, "Oh God, how are we going to get back into this?" I think we can, but just need to be that little bit more clinical in that final third, as they say. To quote,
certainly do. The half-time whistle, as Gnome said, has gone. It's West Ham United 0, Everton 1. That's really not what we wanted to see here at the interval at the London Olympic Stadium. Calvert-Lewin scoring the only goal of the half after 23 minutes, a long ball over the top. Craig Dawson caught napping. Godfrey it was who supplied the slide rule pass. I think they generally used to refer to that one. Calvert-Lewin onto it, and a really clever finish to put the ball beyond Lucas Fabianski into the far corner to give Everton the lead. West Ham have had their chances, most notably when Said Benrahma headed over 6 minutes ahead of the half-time whistle. Absolutely gilt-edged opportunity, and Pablo Fornals, who played him in with a lovely cross, beating the ground in frustration as he saw the header go over the bar. But in terms of controversial points in the half, I suppose there is only one really that we sort of can go back to. It's a bit of a mixed view of it from the team here. A couple felt it was possibly worth a review, shall we say, from VAR. The moment in the 26th minute when Michail Antonio went up for a header and was seemed to be shoved in the back by at least one, if not two, Everton defenders, and went to the ground. But we understand there was no VAR review, and Atwell, the referee, waved play on. Let's begin with that. I think, Gnome, I'll come to you first on that one. I think you felt that was at least, if not a penalty, at least deserving of a VAR review.
Yeah, obviously we haven't got the commentary on here, so it doesn't drown us out or anything. So I've no idea if they did go for a VAR review, but I just didn't see how it wasn't. What of the ball did they get? And you know, it's one of those ones that referees apply this double standard to. You do that at the halfway line, they'll give the free kick without second thought.
Yeah.
You know, I just thought it was out and out penalty. But not much else to say. Atwell's not having the greatest of games. He's missing stuff. Richarlison seems to only have to go to the floor to to get a free kick, and I mean, just before Lanzini went off, he was taking the ball away and got sort of hauled back, and he thought, well, that'd be a free kick, and Atwood just simply wasn't interested. He's not a good referee anyway, as you all know. But,
none of them are good referees, no, are they? Come on, they're all rubbish, aren't they?
He's got a particularly checkered record, shall we say. Promoted to the select group after less than one season in the Championship, after a few words from his mentor, a certain Keith Hackett. And, he's simply not up to it, but then few of them are.
Oh, there you go. Not one of the best performances from the referee in the opening half, but someone who disagreed with you on that potential penalty was Pinky. Pinky, you felt that Antonio was looking for something that just really wasn't there at the time.
It was kind of a Teddy Sheringham impersonation. You know, it's one of those where a player of Teddy's sort of experience would try and play for that. And if you've got a red shirt on of Man United, you get it. If you've got a claret and blue shirt on of West Ham United, you don't get it. And I'm not a huge fan of players trying to get cheap penalties. You know, I think you're always better off trying to play the ball in some way, shape or form, if I'm being honest with you, because you just don't get given them, you know, and when you really need them, you don't get given them. Yeah. So, you know, on that basis, I'm not saying it was a dive, but it would have been a soft penalty for me. Yeah.
Do you agree with Gnome's comment there, though, that had it occurred anywhere else on the pitch, it would have been a straightforward free kick?
Yeah, but we see that in all sorts of things. I mean, for my money, corner kicks, you know, every corner kick, there's a dozen fouls in the box every time, every single game. But they don't get given as penalties, but elsewhere in the field, they're being nailed on free kick. So, you know, for me, that, you know, I know it's a bit of an old chestnut that, you know, anywhere else you get a pen for it, but there's a lot of other offences as well. And for me, you know, the big talking point in that half was the Ben Rama miss, because there's 3 pages on Grand Old Team of their supporters going, how did he miss that? We've had a let off there, you know, crikey, we've got lucky there, and all the rest of it. So it's not just our supporters with the head and the hands going, what's gone on there? You know, Benny had to bury that, and he didn't. And maybe that's the difference between a Championship player and a Premier League player. But for my money, in that first half, you know, I think we've matched them for certain, and maybe even shaded it. They've had the better chances. I think Fabianski's made, you know, 2 decent saves, one from a free kick and one from an open play. But, you know, the goal, to give away the goal we gave away, soft doesn't begin to describe it. You know, if you could get that opportunity as a Sunday League player, you're not going to miss. You know, literally just, you know, a ball played through, you roll your defender who's gone to sleep, he's the wrong side of you, and you pull the trigger. You know, at this level, players that have been capped for England don't miss those. They just don't.
Is that Dawson's? Was Dawson at fault for you there, or is it? Are you attributing blame to anyone in particular?
I think Dawson had gone to sleep. In fairness to Everton, they'd spotted that was perhaps too big a gap between our centre backs at that point. Yep. I think Diop was slightly further forward. So, you know, fair play to Everton, but I don't want to keep digging Issa out, because I think generally in that first half he's been much better. I think he had a good second half against Burnley as well. You know, today I think that's Dawson having a bit of a doze, would be my take on it. And Calvert-Lewin, no chance he was going to miss that. So Everton, yeah, they've got the goal. Yeah, there's a lot of talk on Grand Old Team about they've had loads of corners. But actually, if you look at when they had, I think, 3 or 4 corners in a row, that tends to bump the tally up. And for my money, 3 of those corners, I thought we defended pretty well. No nonsense defending. Yeah. You know, once by
Diop. The 4th was rubbish, wasn't it?
Just put the ball out and you just reset and defend again. To me, that's good defending. I don't think it illustrates that Everton have bossed it. You know, so I think there's a bit of delusion from the Everton supporters there. But second half, we're going to need something a bit different, because Well, I think Everton have done really well today, with the exception of that Ben Rama opportunity. I think defensively they've been very good indeed. And I think this extra player they've got at the back, effectively 5 at the back that they're playing today, we're struggling to get in behind them like we normally would.
Okay. Thank you. I think actually, Pinky, you've answered every question I had for you at halftime. There, we've had the Ben Rama incident. We were going to go to grand old team, talk about what we needed to do the second half, talk about the penalty and the goal, and I think you've answered all those in one fell swoop. So we've got them all out of the way quickly. Rio, let's come back quickly to the penalty first of all. I think you was in agreement with Gnome. You felt there was something in that.
Yeah, I mean, if you play for one of the so-called Super Six, that gets looked at.
Yeah, do you agree with Pinky there that's
the referee? Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, yeah, one of the top teams, it gets looked at. Us, the referee straight away brushed it away. It was never going to be recalled back.
Yeah. The goal itself that was scored. Now, of course, we played Everton. It seems like forever ago now, doesn't it? Back in September when we went up there for the Carabao Cup tie, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin was incredible on that night. Scott a hat-trick, of course, and pretty much single-handedly condemned the Hammers to defeat 4-1 defeat in the end. Snodgrass actually scoring that night. Remember him? But done it again today. Scored his 4th goal of the season against the Hammers, and Pinky said, it's the sort of goal you'd love if he was a Sunday League striker, but finished it with aplomb, I think would be the correct description for that finish.
Yeah, but Craig Dawson did make it incredibly easy for him.
Yeah,
just completely lost his man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He got completely lost his man asleep. But let's not take nothing away from the actual finish, because the finish was worthy of any top strike. Absolutely amazing way to put that ball away, and it's a great through ball by Ben Godfrey. But now we shouldn't be giving away chances like that. You've got to stay tight to your man. You know what he did to us earlier in this season. We know he's been in great form all season. We know he's an England call up.
Yeah.
You keep a close eye on him. You can't afford to let chances like that come against you, particularly in the state we are at the moment.
Yeah, very much so, very much so. And no, what's your view on the Dawson thing there? Do you agree with the guys that he was a little bit flat-footed, perhaps, if we're being kind?
He was flat-footed, and the effort to get back was less than. I think he felt that Calvert-Lewin had gone wide enough for him to not worry about it, perhaps. But he should have got back maybe another half a yard.
Yeah.
Would have and forced him really wide, but he let him go, didn't get back, and you can see when the ball went in, the look on Dawson's face. He knew that he'd not exactly covered himself in glory at that point.
Yeah.
So, but 2 errors: 1, letting him get away, and error 2, not getting back, and. It wasn't like he was miles away from him. He could have got back an extra half yard.
Yeah.
But having said that, echo Rio, it was a good finish. It was a fine finish. It's just I don't think he would have been allowed to.
Sure, fair enough. I mean, one opportunity that wasn't, unfortunately for us, a fine finish was side Ben Rama's. Pinky's already touched on it. What a chance! It's one of those you get if you're lucky 2 or 3 of those in a game, and in a match as tight as this and important as this, you've really got to hit the back of the net on those occasions.
Yeah. Pinky mentioned a sort of lack of confidence. I'd also say maybe sort of wrong player in the wrong position there at the wrong time, sort of thing. It's the sort of thing, I mean, a sort of natural goal scorers will, even if they're not sort of noted for being good in the air, for example, will still sort of make a good fist of those. And, obviously at an infinitely lower level, for example, for obvious reasons, I've never one of the greatest ones in the air, but I would say that I would put that away because it was a natural thing for me to do.
Do you're saying that though, Gnome, if I can just cut in there. I mean,
about it. You could see him thinking about it as it came across.
Yeah.
And a natural goal scorer in that position wouldn't be thinking about it. He would just act. He would look at that and say, and just do it. It would be in the net before he had a chance to think about it. And that's the difference between, he's not a natural goal scorer, as we've seen this season, and that's the difference between having, I mean, if Antonio had been in that position, for example, notwithstanding that sometimes his finishing can be erratic, but there'd have been more, I'd have had more money on him putting it away.
Well, I mean, you could actually say that it was a very similar position, wasn't it, in some ways, to the first goal at Turf Moor last week? Well, obviously, Antonio was a little bit closer.
Yeah, and it was a similar attempt at finish. He did the right thing. It was playing it back along the plane.
Absolutely. Go across the keeper, yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those ones where if it's not a natural goal scorer, you don't want them to have the time to think about it. You just want them to do it. And I think he overthought that. I think he knew he had to play it back that way, but he got underneath it. And, it's, I think Fornells's reaction was echoed everywhere.
Yeah, I love watching him. He really, plays with his heart on his sleeve, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's great to see. But Rio, do you think we're being perhaps a little bit harsh on Ben Rama there? I mean, Gnome said it. He's not a natural goal scorer by any means, and it wasn't the easiest chance. Now we sort of compared it, or I compared it with Antonio's goal last week at Turf Moor, but it was a much more difficult chance. It was a slightly more acute angle. Was it not quite as easy as it looked, do you think? Are we going to give him the benefit of the doubt here, I think is what I'm saying.
I actually thought it was a little bit. No, I'm going to be a little bit critical. I thought it was actually, apart from the angle, the actual chance was easier because against Burnley, Antonio muscled in and beat two big defenders there. Well, he wanted it. Yeah. He was no way he was going to lose that header. Ben Rama just looks a bit, I've just looked up his stats. He's scored 55 career goals. Mm-hmm. Only one of them has been a header, and that was in 2014-15 when he was still playing in France.
Yeah.
So I think, as Gnome said, if he's going to fault anybody, please not him, anyone but him. Yeah. Stick Fabianski at the top. I would have fancied him from there, but no, it's the wrong person at the wrong time.
Okay, love that stat. What a brilliant stat. So you don't get that anywhere else. 55 career goals for Said Ben Rama, only one header in his career, and that coming 6 or 7 years ago. We're back. Before we do go back, let's have a quick look at the forums. Rio, what's the view from our fellow Hammers on the KUMB.com forum match thread?
I mean, obviously, there's a lot of criticism over Dawson for the first goal, a lot of criticism for Ben Rama for missing that header.
Yeah.
What there is a little bit of criticism and all is at Everton and their style of play.
Okay.
Iron Hammer 14 has put. Just got to find it. Allardyce might as well stay at Everton if they're going to set up and play all the time.
Right.
Bubbles Fortune has put Everton gone full on Stoke City. It's horrible to watch. Another one, Lovejoy. Ancelotti's done a number of us here again. 3 big centre backs who can handle Antonio easily and pace up top is exposing our lack of pace massively. I think we'll get at least another couple at this rate. We look toothless. But on the positive side, Mecca 1973's book, there's enough signs to suggest we're still in this. I do worry that it already looks like one of those days in front goal, but I prefer 4 nails in the middle, and Bowen is going to be a blessing in disguise coming on. So, yeah, much more criticism of Everton style of play. There's also accusations of they do like a screech and a yell when they go down, as most guys do nowadays. And Tom Davies is getting a lot of stick, and not for the hair incident. It's because he's a dirty little git.
Yeah, there was one rather naughty one, wasn't there, on Ben Rama? A number
of times that the referees give him the free kick, and you think, well, how many more of those are you allowing? But we started, by the way, no changes. Soufal gets a cross in from the right, but it's cut out. Looking for Antonio there, I think, but it's cut out. And Richarlison now can take the ball away, plays it one side of Souček and runs the other, but Soufal's got back at him, and Bowen's doing a bit of harrying, and the ball's way back now into the Everton half. I mean, Davis is a little bit lucky not to be on a yellow. I think his next foul
we'll see a card. But yeah, as I say, no changes at the interval for either side. So
Okay.
Yeah, just thought I'd give you that one. And
Good
we're
stuff.
47 minutes and 17 seconds in. Oh, dangerous looking ball.
I've caught a second up on you, Gnome. I'm 14 seconds behind you now, so that's good.
Well, dangerous looking ball there that Calvert-Lewin nearly got on the end of, and only sort of half cleared. Everton now sort of trying to get it back in the box, but it's throwing out on the left.
It's a Diop, absolutely full marks. It's a Diop, because if he hadn't done the run back, Everton get the goal.
It just looked like a strange little lazy sort of ball in. Suddenly Calvert-Lewin was got the edge of the box. Another cross in, Calvert-Lewin gets underneath it, and that's Fabianski's. West Ham bring it away now quickly, but Benrahma has two players on him as soon as he gets the ball, so it has to go back. But he's got it back now from the left wing, cuts inside, and plays an interesting looking ball. Can Soufal get on the end of that? I don't think he will do. And it's really? I thought that was our ball. Soufal slid in, tipped the kick against the Everton defender, and it went out. But linesman gave it completely the other way. But that might have been ours.
All right, good stuff. Good stuff. Pinky, was there? We touched on the grand old team. A lot of people quite critical, but I would assume they're generally quite happy over there at half time to see their team in front. Anyway,
yeah, they're actually been pretty realistic. Actually, I think they think they've just shaded it.
Right.
You know, they're seeing it as a competitive game, and the player who's getting the most stick for the Everton side is Coleman. Yeah, right. He's getting a lot of stick, and Sigurdsson as well. They're saying isn't involved enough, so there's a bit of criticism for their lads, but I think they're reasonably realistic on there today. I mean, there's no sort of comments along the lines of we're battering West Ham or anything like that. They know they're in the game actually, and I'd say there's probably slightly more complimentary comments about us than negative ones. So. I think they take the balanced view. They're concerned that they're going to sit back, try and defend a 1-0, and it'll all go horribly wrong. And let's hope they're right.
Let's hope they are right indeed. It's interesting, actually. You make the point about more positive comments from opposition fans. For those of you who haven't seen it, the opposition view from Burnley last week was quite an incredible read, really. I think it was almost universally positive in terms of West Ham's performance, which is certainly something I've never seen before, having been doing the OVs for a number of years, shall we say. But anyway, coming back to today, just wanted to ask you, Gnome, about Michail Antonio. We just saw him penalised for using his body there. Down by the touchline. I think he was making the point that, it wasn't that dissimilar to the challenge upon him in the first half that, didn't result in a penalty or any free kick.
I thought it was very dissimilar in that he just got his body across. He didn't touch the player.
Yeah.
And just got his body across, and Atwell couldn't wait to give the free kick. Fornals now tees up. Souček cuts back instead of shooting. Fornals plays it wide to Benrahma, who lets it under his foot, but Cresswell picks Cresswell's control lets him down there, and Cresswell's now Cresswell's down injured, and Cresswell's not somebody who goes down injured. He seems to be in a lot of trouble here. Let's see what happened. Cresswell's first touch let him down. He slips.
Yeah, is it the slip where he gets the injury, or is it the challenge? I think it might be the first one. I think it might be where he loses his footing, perhaps.
Oh no, the studs are across the bottom of his shin there. It's
right.
It's a painful one. Again, I would not put any intent on the player there, because it was one of those ones where two players went to tackle, and where else could he go?
Well, hang on a second. Let's have it right. Fabian Balbuena was sent off for one of those, wasn't he, a couple of weeks ago?
And it was quite rightly thrown out. It's a foul, and quite rightly he's given the foul, and I think quite rightly there's no further action taken.
But it does highlight that inconsistency that we see on a regular basis.
Anyway, free kick to West Ham, left-hand side of the box, curled in by Lingard, but it doesn't beat the first man, and out to Soufal. and Fornals and that chips a long ball in, but Pickford's come for that and should get it easily enough. And nothing much happening there then. So, yeah, I mean, Balbuena got sent off for that. It was wrong. This once Atwell got something right.
Yeah. Well, of course, we saw two in the same match, didn't we? We saw Soufal perform a similar challenge.
I mean, that he couldn't even be consistent with himself, could he? So,
it was a strange one anyway. But again, West Ham were the victims, unfortunately, which not the first time this season. And of course, as we saw so many rescinded red cards over the years for West Ham, I'd like to see a chart in comparison to some of the other teams. And Rio, I suspect we'd be topping that list as well in terms of rescinded red cards.
5 out of our last 8 have been overturned.
6, wasn't it? Wasn't it 6 of 8 or something?
Something like that, but it's a ridiculous number. I mean,
Rio, have we ever seen a stat like that you're aware of in terms of rescinded cards?
I've not seen the league table as such. I've not been looking at it, but if we don't top that, then it would be an absolute injustice.
Another one.
I dread to think the club would actually be better placed and be suffering more than us. But it's amazing. Most of every single one that's been overturned has been virtually against the top clubs, apart from the Souček one against Fulham.
We're beginning to see a bit of a pattern developing here in terms of the play. Having said that, now Everton will try and bring it away, but that'll be offside if Calvert-Lewin goes for it, which he has done, but it would have been had he got anywhere near it. Everton are defending quite deep and seem happy to do so. Again, because we've not been, we've lacked that cutting edge. We haven't really looked like scoring it. Eventually, I think somebody sticks in a cross, which gets picked off. But the game is very much being played. There are 3 players, 4 in the West Ham half, as the ball's pretty much up on the halfway line. Every Everton player is in his own half. Now, nice play from Antonio. Beats Cresswell out left. Cresswell puts in a lovely teasing cross. And it's, cross came out to Fornals on the edge of the box. Got a shot away, got deflected away. Good work from Antonio there. Held the ball up, turned, played Cresswell in. Well, that was certainly goal bound. Clever header back towards Fornals on the edge of the box from Soufal there. So this will be a West Ham corner from the West Ham left. Cresswell is the man again, happily recovered from that knock. Not a great corner from Cresswell, doesn't beat the first man. West Ham still with the ball though. Benrahma plays it again a poor ball, picked off. Now Fornals has picked it up on the edge of the box, plays it inside to Bowen rather. It's clear, but again it's coming back. We've got Dawson there now. Fornals gets the cross in. Antonio nearly just can't quite get the header on it, and again Everton hoof it long. And we need to be a bit careful here. Cresswell and Calvert-Lewin did well there, but Benrahma's got, I think he's fouled there, surely. No, apparently not. Everton can bring it away. Some good work from Calvert-Lewin there, because although Cresswell, he gave Cresswell no time on the ball at all. Now, Everton beginning to sort of push forward a little bit. And Digne sort of went down the left. Cresswell got it back to Fabianski. Didn't have an awful lot of time to deal with it, but cleared away. But Everton now having their own little spell of possession. But 5 minutes up to just now, it was lots of West Ham possession. Everton just defending in depth and just happy to pick off. Our crosses, unusually for Cresswell, that corner didn't beat the first man. Cresswell hobbling a bit, and they've just showed Fredericks limbering up, so maybe there'll be another change there.
Okay, well, we'll have to keep an eye on that one and see what happens. Interestingly, according to the stats, West Ham, it looked like that Fornals one might have counted had it not been blocked, but West Ham still yet to find a shot on target in the match, which is Quite
That
concerning,
was on
Pinky.
target. It was dead centre of the goal.
Yeah, but I guess it's not counted because it counts as a block. But 7 shots each, according to the stats, Pinky. 3 on target for Everton, none for West Ham. We're certainly going to have to improve that in the final third of the match if we're going to get back into this game.
Yeah, but I think, I touched on it at half time. Credit the Everton defending. I think they're defending very well indeed this afternoon. I think they've got a very clear game plan to nullify Antonio.
Yeah,
that's working. So I think they quite rightly identified him as the main threat. So just punting balls, crosses into the box, hoping that he'll get on the end of it. Their centre backs are dealing with that all day long, and we need greater subtlety. I'd be inclined to make Ben Rama push him further forward, more centrally, and play some quick passes on the edge of the box.
Okay.
So I'd almost move Antonio out to the flank and get the quick feet players in and around the box. And sounds awful, but I hope that actually they're making a mistake amongst the Everton back line, because just doing it in the air, we're getting no change out of that all afternoon, I'm afraid.
Well, I mean, it's something we've seen quite frequently in the past, isn't it? Antonio pulling out wide on the left to allow for the foraging runs from the midfield, more centrally. So I mean, something needs to change anyway. And as you said, Antonio's been effectively nullified so far by that Everton rearguard. But anyway, no, it looks like we have a second substitution for West Ham about to come.
Yeah.
And it looks like Cresswell's game is over.
Cresswell, I said, happily recovered. Clearly hadn't happily recovered. And he's being replaced by Frederick. Frederick's not been unknown for him to go on sort of marauding runs down the wing there. So, which is Frederick just nicked the captain's armband off Cresswell and stuck it on himself. But he'll no doubt give that a Fabianski or someone a bit later on when he gets back there. But so yeah, second change in the afternoon, and second change I think prompted by injury rather than tactical.
Yet again, yeah. It's actually a very good point you make there. Cresswell, no Declan Rice, no Mark Noble in the team. Who is the next captain? I mean, it
normally ends up on Fabianski's arm when in this sort of situation. But of course, Fredericks isn't going to sort of waste an awful lot of time going back there just simply to do that. He'll give it to him next time he goes back there, sort of thing. So, but
okay.
Well, West Ham again. Having possession, but Everton, defending very much. I mean, we've got Calvert-Lewin in our half at the moment, but only just. And everything is back for Everton. Now, that's good-looking ball, and Fornals does well.
Good ball, Fornals, good ball. Oh, unlucky.
Oh, we've hit the post. Oh, how the hell aren't we 1-1? That was a fine move as well. Soufal... I've criticised Soufal for not shooting. Well, Fornals, beautiful run from Soufal. Oh, and Bowen, why haven't you put that rebound in? Soufal shoots across goal, comes back off the post. Bowen's a couple of feet out, and it just comes back off Bowen. Tries to sort of get it in, but it just manages to side foot it into the grateful arms of Pickford.
I kind of get the feeling that Bowen might have been given offside anyway had he done so. Yeah. I think if you look at it, it was marginally off when the when the shot comes in. But you're right. We often make the point, don't we, about Soufal not shooting, and we've been a little bit critical in the past. But Rio, he's not going to get much closer than that, is he?
No. Of all the players I want to see score a goal, is Vladimir Soufal. Because I think you'd just go absolutely ballistic in the goal celebration more than anything. But
it kind of reminds me of the whole Thomas Repka thing, Rio. You remember that when we were all really willing him to score, and he came close, didn't he? I think in the cup final against Liverpool, never did, if I remember rightly.
Well, thing with Repka,
wasn't right, it?
Yeah. Didn't he get a penalty in a penalty shootout in some meaningless friendly game or something? And he went up to take it, and the first effort was saved, and the referee made him take it again, and he still missed. There is another change coming on, by the way. Mina was down injured and can't continue, and he's been replaced by that well-known service area on the M4, Mason Holgate, and so the change at the back for Everton. So
wasn't
let's
that
see
a Madness album?
Eh?
Wasn't that a Madness album?
Yeah, Madness and Norton Folgate or something, which is a little alley in the city of London somewhere, isn't it?
Which reminds me, you made a comment on the Madness thread in the music section this week, Graham. That was unforgivable, really.
What does that remind me?
It's somebody said they've been to a concert where it's Madness for the Bell Stars, and you came out, well, that's a sign of the times. Yeah, and I saw that and almost edited it. Okay.
I'm surprised anybody got it, really. I mean, we're going back a few years, but yeah, the seminal hit from the Bell Stars. If you could call that's the only one I knew, actually.
Shame on you.
I'm just pleased somebody spotted it anyway. Thank you. But coming back to
you got all excitable about that, then, did you?
Indeed. More pressing matters at hand here. 63 minutes gone. West Ham United 0, Everton 1. Gnome, we need a goal. We thought we had one there, but you know, if we're going to win this, we need one soon.
Yeah, we were on the attack there, but the cross sort of cut out. But if I were Everton, I'd be beginning to get a little bit concerned on that, because they're beginning to look like us when we're 1-0 up.
Yeah,
and sort of inviting us on, and we haven't actually had, as I say, the cutting edge is beginning to is lacking. You know, Soufal nearly scored there, but you know, we need to keep them penned in. We're doing that quite well at the moment. And so every time I say that, they get the ball out of their half. But long ball cleared, and Souček mops up, and we go again. But they are sitting there. They are inviting West Ham onto them, and yeah. So seeing if Soufal could keep a ball out wide in, which he does, and yeah. So as I say, we need to keep this pressure on, but we need to do something with it. It's all very well having all the play, and then they sneak a sort of last minute, want to make it 2-0. Which would be an unrealistic reflection of the game, I'd have said. But you know, yeah. It's worryingly looking a little bit like that at the moment. You know.
Yeah, it is. Pinky.
Yeah, the thing to exploit now. I mean, they've made a change in the back line.
Yes.
And, you know, I'm a huge fan of, you know, when there's doubt in terms of organisation, and there normally is when you've got a change in the back line, you've got to exploit the player that's come on, who might not be either up to speed of the game, may not have been paying attention in terms of who's picking who up, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that might give us a little bit of hope, because generally today, I think Everton have defended really well today. So that change might give us something, you know, in terms of an opportunity. So here's hoping.
Are you a fan of Mina? I mean, I heard you sort of express your happiness upon that the announcement of that substitution, or is it just for that reason you felt that, you know, there's an opportunity for West Ham to exploit there?
Yeah, it's just because how often do you see it when you see a centre back or a defender go off, that suddenly the organisational discipline that a team had just evaporates, and at this level, a split second is all it takes.
Yeah,
and you know, it could be something of that. Or maybe it's just us that actually fall apart when we make changes, but you know, you see plenty of other teams do it as well. So, you know, here's hoping.
Yep, fingers crossed. Rio, are we kind of, you know, this 66 minutes gone now? Are we entering that territory where we'd take a draw from this one today?
Well, sorry, we've just seen another thing. I mean, there's 11 players gone down, and it's Charlton again, I think. But we just saw Antonio pushed off the ball like that and nothing given. So, I mean, you know, I don't know what he has to do to get a free kick, but yeah, it was just ludicrous. It just shoved him away.
Swiftly followed by Richarlison complaining.
Rolling around in agony again. Well,
yeah.
We just got on and took the throw in, didn't we? But
we did. But strange one. Yeah, coming back to that question, Rio, are we there yet? Are we in that sort of would take a point happily now territory?
To be honest, I was there after about 35 minutes. No, we're definitely in that territory. We're running out of options to bring on to try and change the game.
Yeah.
The referee's clearly not going to give us a single thing here. We're just seeing Lingard go down and there's nothing in that really. But yeah, no, I just think
he's given the free kick.
well drilled.
The player's gone down. Lingard is 2 foot away from him when he's gone down, and he's gone down and the referee couldn't give that quickly enough. Whereas a full blown shove on Antonio 2 seconds ago, nothing. You know, he's having a poor game. Atwell. He's having
Gnome's becoming increasingly exasperated here. You can tell that the steam is coming out the ears already. Look, we've still got another 25 minutes to go or so. But Stuart Atwell, sort your game out, lad. Yeah, Rio, we're sort of getting there, aren't we? Now it's 20 minutes to go. Anything but defeat wouldn't be so bad, I guess, in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, it just looks like one of them days when we're not going to score whatever we do. Everton really hard to break down as it is. Getting 1 will be a major bonus. Getting 2 will be a borderline miracle. I did say in our post-game thing in the week that out the games remaining, I saw this one as a 1-1 draw or draw. Right. Pick a point out of this one, win the other 3, and we'll be all right.
Are we out of the Champions League race, Rio? If we lose this today, do you think?
If we lose, we're not out of it, but it's incredibly difficult because not only have we got to contend with wait for Leicester to implode, we've also got Liverpool breathing on our heels, and we have to win all of our last 3 games if we don't win this one.
Yeah.
Free kick to West Ham. Lingard plays the cross in. Again, it's sort of dealt with though. Ball's clear at the halfway line.
Was that even a free kick, Gnome? I didn't see any challenge for or any connection on Fornals there. He seemed to anticipate one coming, but it never arrived.
He tried to hurdle the challenge, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Right, looks like another change, and this will be a tactical one. Yarmolenko is putting his shirt on, and again, Nolan's chewing his gum there and talking him through where to go on the tablet there.
What do we make of that, Gnome? Inspirational or desperation?
Bit of both, really. Yarmolenko does have a habit of coming on, and he can do this sort of thing. I mean, remember Chelsea last year. So, but Bowen buys a more realistic free kick there, and we get possession back. And it's. I'm trying hard to think of anything Everton created. There was that one sort of lazy cross into the middle that Diop stopped Calvert-Lewin from getting on the end of, and that's really been about it for this half for Everton. So, it really has been a slope going that way.
It's just to give an indication of how difficult West Ham are finding it right now. Since the Mina substitution a few moments ago, the BBC's live text reads as follows: Gylfi Sigurdsson wins a free kick, foul by Vladimir Soufal. Ben Godfrey wins a free kick, foul by Jesse Lingard, foul by Allen, and that's it for the last 10 minutes. So, Pinky, it's all gone a bit quiet again, and that's not what West Ham need right now, is it?
No, but yeah, Everton are putting themselves about. I mean, that they are making challenges, and I tend to disagree a little bit now.
And Richarlison,
not the first time, where he's getting stuck into the ref here today. I quite like some of the reffing I've seen here today. He's let a few sort of like firm challenges go, and I haven't got a problem with that.
I haven't got a problem with letting a few firm challenges go. What I have a problem with is letting challenges that are clearly and obviously fouls. The one on Antonio where he just got shoved off the ball like that, and waving play on. But call me old-fashioned, but I kind of like the rules of the game to be applied once in a while. Now,
Inky?
No, I mean, the challenge Gordon's referring to there, I looked at it, I actually thought Antonio had gone a bit off balance. He had a little bit of a nudge, but do you know what? He's a big lad. He's got to be stronger. Yeah. And on that particular case, I just felt the Everton players were stronger. Yeah. And
Souček's just gone in the book. Richarlison, I think that was 4 or 5 rolls around. It was a foul, but Richarlison has gone down so many times today. I mean, he's perfectly fine now, walking away, arm all right. But if Souček didn't get the ball, it was a free kick. Yellow card in the context of what we've seen. Nah.
Not sure that's any worse than the first half one on by Davis on Ben Rama, Gnome, to be honest with you. But well, there you go.
Yeah, substitutions been made. Ben Rama's come off now, and we got Yarmolenko.
Hang on, I'm going full Ted Hastings here. Mother of God! I mean, Ben Rama off and Yarmolenko on. I mean, it's kind of like frying pan and fire spring to mind, don't they? It's kind of like when your best option off the bench, to replace Ben Rama as Yarmolenko. I mean, please, no. Don't
you mean Jesus, Mary, and Joseph and the wee donkey?
Indeed, something like that.
Was the best line in the series. That
I think it's partly due to the fact that bar poor Odebeko, who we only saw briefly against Manchester United, that's pretty much it now, isn't it, in terms of attacking options from the bench? Bowen's on, and the rest kind of defends on midfielders.
We can't take anyone else on now. We've got all 3 on, haven't we?
We have indeed. And there's a little more than 16 minutes to go for West Ham to find at least 1 goal, preferably 2 or maybe even more. But I think, as we were saying a few minutes ago, most of us would just take 1 right now and, move on to the last 3 games. Because really, Rio, this is a game. We said Liverpool are breathing down our necks, but Everton could be if they win this one today.
We're just seeing Jesse Lingard giving Atwell both barrels. He's given a foul against Lingard when he's got through. Lingard's just got fed up with it. I mean, he's been kicked from pillar to post today and got nothing. And how is that a foul? He said. And Atwell's basically going to give him the yellow for dissent. Well done, Atwell. Yeah. It is very frustrating what's happened here. So played the ball in.
But look, come on, let's have it right. You can't react like that. If that's, we're always complaining about professional footballers setting examples, and you can't react like that. So I'm completely with the referee on that occasion. You can't do it, right or wrong. That's the law.
He's gone past Davis. He's 2 foot away from
Doesn't
Davis.
Matter. Doesn't matter. You can't react like that, Gnome. You cannot. We're supposed to be setting examples to children, these professional footballers. Kids watch that, and that's what they do. As someone who referees occasionally on a Sunday morning, when you get 7-year-olds coming up into your face and telling you that you've made the wrong decision and that you need glasses or whatever. It's these, that's it. Rubs off. You can't defend that behaviour.
When it's that bad a decision, I don't condone it, but you can understand it when it's that bad a decision. He was a good 2-3 feet away from the player who
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But anyway, what does matter is that time's running out, and West Ham need a goal desperately.
Souček was in the box there, but lost out, and now Everton on the break. Are we going to get suckered here? Richarlison is in the box there. Some good tracking back there by Lingard. Not sure who came in on the right there, but Lingard did very, very well to come back from being non-goal side. Now Bowen's just been kicked up in the air, and Atwell's got the taste of the yellows now. Again, it was Allen. It was a break up the play thing. Crunching challenge. I don't think there's any complaints about a yellow for that. It just came through him and almost scissored him there. But good defensive work from Lingard that prevented us, prevented the game going there. So let's hope we can build for that.
Rio, one thing I am noticing today is there's an awful lot of pink boots out on that football pitch. You a fan?
That's thrown me. Yeah, there is. I just thought Yarmolenko's just come on wearing pink boots as well.
Yeah.
This is a worrying trend. If the old flower thing starts taking off as well, I'm getting very, very concerned about what's going on in modern day football.
Well, these are, of course, modern times, and you know, the Technicolor football boot is quite the thing right now. But I'm not sure I could. I mean, my son, for example, loves a pair of coloured boots, but you know, red or that what's that Stabilo pen colour? You know, like that fluorescent yellow. He's a bit of a fan of those. Yeah. But I've never had to you know, make a choice over pink boots before. I'm not sure how. I'm kind of with you on that one. I think that might be a step too far. It's a bit bright.
Like a pink away kit, fine. I think that looks very nice.
Yeah.
But pink boots, you know. You're in Baldwin or Coco the Clown here, aren't you? You know, it's just it brings a lot of attention to yourself.
Yeah.
I knew it was time to retire when I think the last pair of football boots I bought, and I went into a sports shop. I was looking, and I couldn't find a pair of black football boots, and the ones I ended up with were very, 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 very dark blue because I couldn't find anything that fitted me that was black, and I thought these are going to be your last pair of boots, mate.
78 minutes
West
gone.
Ham, anyway.
Yes, yeah. West Ham not really troubling the Everton goal at the moment, Pinky, and you know, time is really beginning to run out now. No more changes left to make. Of course, Fredericks on the pitch, as well as Yarmolenko having come on a few minutes ago, and yeah, time running out now.
Yeah, and ideas running out, really.
Yeah,
you know, it's just hopeful ball after hopeful ball being launched somewhere in the general direction of the box. You know, we've got plenty of players in there, but this Everton team are dealing with them all.
Well played, Yarmolenko there. Sorry, he's just won a ball back where Davis threw himself to the floor looking for a free kick, didn't get it. Yarmolenko just stuck a foot in, took the ball away, and kept us on the attack. Crossing from Soufal. Good defending again from Keane, and I think that'll be another corner. Souček was up for the header with him. Soufal strangely on the left-hand side, but yeah, well marshalled. Keane's holding his head a little bit, so I think it came off Keane's.
Whoever it came off, the fact remains that West Ham are still looking for their first shot on target, and I'm sure we're hoping for a bit more than that, Pinky, weren't we? At this stage of the game. Well, obviously.
Yeah, and I've been saying it for an hour now. Everton are defending well. They're well organised. You know, they're good in the areas of the pitch that matter. I mean, they are getting pelters on grand old team in terms of, you know, being not particularly attractive to watch, and just that strikes me as kind of like a bit of a warning that Ancelotti, for his £11 million salary, hasn't put together. I mean, there's a comment on there now said, in terms of style and aesthetics, this is no better to watch as an Everton fan than what Sam Allardyce is putting out. And you know, Ancelotti needs to be a little bit mindful, I'd suggest, that the Everton support won't put up with that kind of play, and not from a manager getting paid 11 million. So I wouldn't be totally surprised to see him not there next season, if I'm being honest with you. I think if a better job came along somewhere in European football, they might all strike a deal and say, let's shake hands and move on.
Yarmolenko forces another corner, by the way, back in the game. Dawson, having just come off worse after a flailing arm from Calvert-Lewin, is up there in the box now. Corner comes across, and yet again Everton clear. It's meat and drink, the crosses we're putting in at the moment, they're remaining resolute. I don't think we're going to be seeing that stat about set piece goals coming up again in this match anyway. So
they're defending superbly to their credit, as Pinky said earlier. Everton, they really are keeping us out. And you slightly, Gnome, are you slightly disappointed with what you've seen from Michail Antonio this afternoon? Pinky has also made the point that, you know, he's been very, very well watched and you know, kept out of the game by Everton's defence. But were you expecting a bit more today?
Yeah, because early on it looked like they didn't have a clue how to play him, and every time he got the ball with his back to goal, it was getting fouled. When it's Everton about to make another substitution, by the way, we're just that looks like see what's happening here. I thought they were going to make the substitution there, they're not, and throw it to West Ham, and I think they'll make it now. No, still playing on. But seeing what did it bring on? West Ham are going on this. Yeah, it's second half. Of course, we've been playing really into their strengths because as a ball that looks to find Soufal in good position on the left. Soufal and Fredericks have swapped sides. So the change is being made now. Josh King is coming on, and Richarlison is the one to come up. Doesn't look very happy, being given the hurry up by Atwell.
He hasn't looked happy since the first minute, has he? To be fair, I mean, he's spent the whole game looking maudlin and morose.
Considering how much pain he must be, the number of times he's been rolling around on the floor. He's done well the last 83 minutes, hasn't he? He must be in absolute agony. So one day he'll injure himself rolling around. That'll be the.
Josh King, Rio, as Gnome said, coming on. It hasn't been, we were quite keen on signing him. You would have thought if rumours were right, although, of course, the club pointed out at some point that was never really the case, but hasn't really been the success at Everton, has he, that, some felt he might be at the start of the season.
Oh, Everton at the post. Well, we were caught almost on the break then, and King, Calvert-Lewin took the ball past Fabianski, took it wide, got across it to King, who headed it against the post, and again, it's another throw-in that looked to be going the other way, but we'll see it again now. Fabianski did well not to dive in and give away the penalty. Calvert-Lewin I think they were looking to see if there was a handball on the post there, but I don't think there was. It's just it's just come straight back off the post. Could have been 2-0, could have been sucker punch there. I think they brought King on, maybe they're hoping that it won't come back at them so much if they've got him up alongside. Final substitution for Everton coming on now, and that's Delph is coming on for Sigurdsson, who having bigged him up, I thought he's had a quiet game, but again, it's really been the Everton tale has been not of their attacking midfielders; it's been their stifling game.
Yeah, so very much so. But so that's the lot. That's all 6 substitutions made now. But really, I mean, nearly got suckered there, didn't I? Just asking you about King and just saying that he's not really done a job for Everton, and there he was. Fortunately for us, probably a little bit cold, but possibly his first touch since coming on the field and hitting the post.
Yeah, this is his 11th match for Everton since arriving, and they've all been from the bench. Yeah, he's only on a short-term deal. So that probably won't have done his contract any good.
Yeah. Yes.
He's an injury problem.
Sorry, Rio, was you just saying that he hasn't scored a Premier League goal?
Hasn't scored a Premier League goal for Everton this season since he's joined them. No.
Yep.
So you got away with that one.
You could see what's going to happen there. Surprised he didn't go in. But anyway, we're still in with the shout, Rio. I mean, we are running out of time. There's only just 4 minutes of normal time left. But gosh, we need a goal desperately here, don't we? Really, really need one now.
Yeah, it's just been a lot of huff and puff with no real kind of output. The set piece goals have dried up over the last month or so. And we're just completely one-dimensional at the moment. And it's just playing into Everton's hands. They've lapped this up all day. We've just got to be a little bit clever. Try and squeeze the ball into the box somewhere, but putting these crosses in is just meat and drink to them. It's not going to end up going anywhere. So it's desperation stakes now.
Yeah, I mean, it strikes me that the only time we've really opened up their defence in the entire game was that little 1-2 that Fornals and Antonio played on the edge of the box, laid out wide for Soufal, and the shot, which of course hit the post. But it's been slim pickings, isn't it, for the Hammers really today?
Yeah, it's just whatever we tried just hasn't worked, and it's almost at that stage where you think, do you want to see one of our players go down cheaply in the box? Almost at that stage.
Ooh, controversial.
Sorry, I don't want that to happen. I've just gone, no, not a Rio, although I disagree. I don't want to see that happen. But just a long spell of pushing and possession ends up with an aimless ball into the box that Pickford can pick out of the air. And of course, as they do these days, goalkeepers, when they have those easy crosses, they throw themselves onto the floor to waste a second or two. So 2.5 minutes of normal time to go. There'll be a bit of stoppage, obviously the subs and a couple of injuries. It's now on pretty much never, I think.
Yep. It's we need
having the shirt pulled off his back. He's had Coleman's had 3 kicks at him. I think it's Coleman, and nothing there, sort of thing. Now Bowen gets down the wing, plays a dangerous looking ball into the box, which Everton clear out for a throw. But I think that was possibly a quickly taken throw that caught Everton a little bit napping there. So Soufal out on the left is going to sling in a long throw. I mean, I guess it's slightly different being a throw-in, but Everton have not looked put out by anything thrown into the box. And, they'll bring it away now. Fredericks does well to sort of clear the ball and then gets clattered by King, who sort of makes sure Fredericks doesn't get up. So that'll be a free kick anyway. Silly free kick to give away from King, because that would have been a throw-in if he just left it be. But 4 nails on the ball anyway. 1 minute and just about a minute now left of normal time. All played down the line. Tempted cross is blocked and Everton will bring it away. Davis plays a short ball and it's blocked up by Dawson.
Time almost up. Known for the Hammers now. It's we've been bemoaning the fact that they've been slinging those balls into the box, but we probably need to do that right now. You'd say AD Star actually making the point on the live chat, saying that Everton have done a job. It feels like the game could go on for another hour, and we still won't fashion a clear-cut chance. Pinky, I'd say that's about right, wouldn't you? It's just not happened today. Has it been well marshalled by Everton?
Yeah, he's bang on the money there, and this is the classic game where you look at the possession stats on full time, and Bloss, high, wide, and handsome there. You look at the possession stats on full time, and you look at it and you go, we're probably 65, 70% even stats for a good part of this game in terms of possession. But it's where you have the ball. For me, the killer one will be, I'd like to know how many touches in the Everton box we've had this afternoon, because I think Everton have defended their box absolutely brilliantly all afternoon. I think, Carlo Ancelotti here has actually done a typical English football manager's performance.
Yes.
In that. This is almost like watching, dare I say it, Nottingham Forest in the late 70s. Happy to give the opposition the ball, come and break us down if you think you're any good. And we haven't been good enough today. We've lacked subtlety, we've lacked ideas, we've lacked a bit of creativity, if truth be told. And so for my money, at this point in time, Everton, by virtue of the fact we gifted them a goal, are just about worthy of the points this afternoon if it stays this way.
And it certainly is looking like staying that way, unless West Ham pulls something out of the fire here, because no. 4 minutes added on, and we're already 1.5 gone.
The first 55 seconds of which the ball was stationary on the 6-yard box while Pickford worked out how to take a goal kick. So, they're taking the sting out of it, obviously. Now, Bowen's trying to force something, goes down the left wing, but he's puts the ball out, I think, there. Coleman marshals him, and it didn't go out, but cleared long again by Everton. Fornals is the furthest player back now. And it's 2 minutes left. Yarmolenko clips the ball in towards Antonio, who just basically bounces off the defender, and that will go for a goal kick. Poor cross.
Yeah, I think that sums up the whole game, doesn't it? Really, known for
I
West
mean,
Ham.
it'll take Pickford another minute to take this goal kick here now.
Yeah.
So
while we're waiting for him to do that, let me just point out, Pinky guesstimated West Ham's possession stat to be around 69 or 70%. It's actually 69% from the match, which is 31 to Everton, which is pretty much unprecedented. Really, what's also unprecedented, or not unprecedented, but certainly hasn't happened in recent weeks anyway, is that West Ham have managed to find 11 shots in the whole match, and are still without a single shot on target. And, I guess, Gnome, that really sort of emphasises what Pinky was saying about what a good job Everton have done defensively. It has been sort of pretty Allardyce-esque, you could say, but it's one of those typical smash and grab jobs, isn't it? They've come here, they've scored the goal, they've sat on it, and it looks like they're going to leave London with all 3 points. Yeah,
it's Everton have done this so many times just over the years, come away with 3 points in games that we've, you think, how the hell have we not drawn that, let alone lost? But well, we're coming into the last 40 seconds now. Antonio puts a cross in, dangerous looking cross actually, cleared out by the defender, and Soufal's there, Antonio's there. Antonio comes away with the ball. Another long cross, that's going out for a goal kick out towards the corner flag, and there's 20 seconds left. Pickford will take 45 seconds to take the goal kick, and that's the game gone. That was our last chance, and it was a rubbish cross from Antonio, and we didn't do enough today. Simple as that.
I guess that last cross, as you say, absolutely symptomatic of West Ham's performance today. I'm kind of the school, I think, of Rio, that would suggest that, rather than West Ham have been below par. Let's
the whistle will go as soon as this goes into the air, I'm betting.
Yeah, but Everton have done a good job today, haven't they? You've got to say that they've, Ancelotti's got it right out of the two.
Yeah, it's coming out. It's coming out part of the bus. Nick a win, nick a goal, part of the bus. SH has just commented on the forum. You can take it as a compliment to us, really, because they had no intention, once they got their opening goal, of doing anything else but defending. They knew that to snuff us out. We didn't have the intelligence or creativity to break them down. He's done the job. But it's the kind of football we've seen today from Ancelotti, which Allardyce got pilloried for up at Everton. And it's what we used to see from them during the days of Joe Royle and even David Moyes, Nick a goal, shut up shop, walk away with the points. And we've been suckered again for it.
We certainly have. As Gnome said, the final whistle has blown at the London Olympic Stadium. It's finished West Ham United 0, Everton 1. West Ham's chances of qualifying for the Champions League have taken a major, major blow here this afternoon, as Dominic Calvert-Lewin's first half goal was enough to secure all 3 points for the visitors. West Ham, way, way below par this afternoon. Didn't manage a single shot on target in the entire match. Everton, to their credit, well drilled, scored the goal, sat back, soaked up the pressure, made sure West Ham never really had a clear-cut opportunity. And you'd have to say, Gnome, that looks like curtains now for West Ham's Champions League's hopes. Or is it?
You're talking to the wrong person about that, because out of the four of us every week, I'm the one who steadfastly refused to comment on Champions League. I haven't really looked into what needs to happen. I don't know. I just say each game as it comes. That was one that I thought was winnable. We've got 3 games left, all 3 of which are winnable. Where will that get us? I don't know. Just see how high it gets us. What I would say is that, despite what the comments yesterday about it being a bitter blow to their Champions League hopes, at least West Ham have had Champions League hopes this year, unlike Tottenham, really. So But well, they're just showing the table now, and our next target is Leicester. Obviously, they're the ones we've got to try and overhaul next to try and push ourselves up the table. I think it's the cup final next weekend, isn't it?
Is it next weekend?
Yeah. So, a win for us next weekend over the weekend will push us up a little bit closer to them. And so, yeah, just keep going. Just keep going.
Okay.
Whatever happens, we had a hell of a season, which has been thoroughly enjoyable.
Yeah.
Although probably not if you're watching us for, but it's let's just keep going, see where we get. Bit of suck at the day. Bit of suck at the day. Well, I mean, whatever happens, I think we're in for some form of European place, aren't we? I think.
Well, you'd hope so, yeah.
Yeah, looking at that, I mean, I'm so confused with how the qualifications work. What with English clubs being in the so-called Champions League final, and then Liverpool being given a get-out-of-jail-free card because we're Liverpool. They'll go into the Champions League if they don't make it. If they don't make it through genuine means, and so who knows who qualifies for what? I don't.
Okay, well, time will tell. There's, as you said, there are 3 more games to go this season. We'll certainly have to rack up a few more points if we're going to be in the picture anyway. But Pinky, West Ham United 0, Everton 1. Disappointing, hugely disappointing from a West Ham perspective. Last week, you felt that this would be one of the games we would win. It hasn't turned out that way, unfortunately. And to be fair, we were never really in the races today, were we? As I said on full time, not a single shot on goal. Just not good enough at at this level. Single shot on target. Sorry.
We've run out of bodies at the wrong time of the year. You take the goal we conceded. Declan Rice said on that field this afternoon, that pass from Godfrey doesn't reach Calvert-Lewin. It's that simple, really. So the snoozing by Dawson doesn't matter in that sense.
Yeah.
Rice on the field. The ball doesn't reach the striker, but there's no Declan Rice because he gets injured on England duty, effectively. So you then say, well, who comes in to replace him? And we're found short. Mark Noble's came in to start with, played very well indeed. Then Mark Noble, at the age of 34 now, he's currently injured. So you then move to Lanzini in that position. And then we saw Lanzini go off today. So we've just run out of bodies, and it's a sign that the squad hasn't really had the depth needed to compete at the right end of the table, which is a real shame. In terms of our attacking intent today, there's no shortage of work rate. The players all ran hard. They ran around and did what they could, but it just seemed to me that it was not quite aimless cross after aimless cross, but it was ineffective cross after ineffective cross, whereby our player wasn't getting on the end of it, and we weren't working the keeper at any stage. The one golden opportunity we had in the game fell to a player who, as Rio pointed out, isn't known for his heading prowess, and I just kind of felt that was the moment when a little bit of the belief slipped away from us, whereby, because it's all about moments. And Ben Rama will be having nightmares about that for months to come, because ultimately you go in at half time 1-1, it's a different game in the second half. The fact that we gave Everton something to hang on to, and where the Everton supporters are saying, how's he missed that? And that kind of told me, they've just shut up shop in the second half, never really looked interested. And I think one of the good things from this afternoon, I think we might hear rather less from our own support about when we need to have more of the ball, because actually we had plenty of the ball today.
We did,
and all we saw today was we didn't have the spark, the creativity, the subtlety to actually break down an Everton defence that was basically 9 men behind the ball from the moment they got their goal. And we weren't trying to tease them out at all, because I don't think we were confident enough to actually play that kind of game. And yeah, they were comfortable all afternoon, Everton. You know, if truth be told, we never looked like scoring, and they just about deserved the points, because I think on the day their game plan was better than ours, and they had the players capable of executing it. Simple as.
Yeah, it's a good point. And actually, just looking back at the stats, I mean, in a sense, you could say that we were, you know, Everton really performed or provided the sort of performance that we've given so often this season. Let the other team control possession, give them the ball, and say, "Come and break us down." And you know, this is exactly where West Ham have been winning so many points. 69% possession. That's how it stayed at the end to West Ham. 31% to Everton. West Ham 11 shots at goal, none on target. Not a single effort on target. Everton 9 shots, 3 on target. And of course, the only goal of the game for Calvert-Lewin. Before I go to Rio Freestyle, I just want to say I'm going to change it a little bit this afternoon for the post-match discussion. If anyone's got any questions that they would like to put to us, the panel, the 4 of us here, please just drop it in the YouTube chat, and I'll pick up on those, and I'll put your questions to the team. So yeah, once again, if anyone's got any questions for Pinky, for Rio, for Gnome, just drop it in the YouTube chat, and we'll go through those. Anything you'd like to ask can be about today's game, can be about the rest of the season, anything to do with West Ham, really. But yeah, let us know if you've got any questions, and just drop them in the chat there. Rio, Pinky made the point there that you know, Everton let West Ham have the ball. Not entirely comfortable with that, are we? We've seen that. We saw it at Newcastle recently. They too were quite happy to let us, you know, control the ball and keep possession and make us ask the questions instead of West Ham sort of sitting back and countering. Jesse Lingard, shadow of himself really today, a player that thrives in that sort of environment, didn't really do anything today. The frustration was telling, wasn't it? We saw him get booked for dissent in the second half. But what's your verdict on that game today? Where did it go wrong for West Ham?
I think Pinky's already summed up quite well, as of yourself. When we're forced to take the game to other teams, when we're forced to make intelligent decisions, try and break teams down, we find it incredibly hard. And when we haven't got the luxury of a set-piece goal, because they have dried up completely of late, that was our outlet to kind of initialise any kind of breakdown. Once you get that kind of goal, it opens the game up a little bit more. Now that's disappeared, and teams who come to defend and say, you ask the questions, we don't have the answers. We haven't got that creative spark in the middle who can open up defences with a telling pass, a little bit of creativity, a little bit of intelligence. Mm-hmm. It's all rather one-dimensional, and that's where we're lacking. You Payet, that kind of player, they're once in a generation. They're mavericks. They're the ones that, when you have them, you cherish them because they bring an absolute different aura to the game and open up games, and it's a joy to watch. We don't necessarily need another Payet, but we need someone who is intelligent enough to take the game and manage it so well that you can actually break down teams in different aspects, you know?
Yeah.
We need the cheaper version of Payet in some way. We need that little, dare I say it, we need a James Maddison style player. We need a Greedy style player. Someone who can just look up, find those gaps that we really struggle to do at the moment. Jesse Lingard's been thriving since he joined us. But when the game gets squeezed and we haven't got anyone to kind of get him into the game by putting the balls through for him to run on, or have something to counter, because Everton, another one of those sides, like we struggle to break down Aston Villa at home. We struggle to break down Fulham at home and Fulham away. When teams sit deep and they invite us on, it nullifies our whole attacking outlet, and we just don't have the capability of dealing with that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, talking about Lingard, that's 3 games now. Scored 4 goals in 3 games, and then now had a little bit of a dry spell. No goal in 3 games, a blank against Chelsea and Burnley, and again here today. But no, without Jesse Lingard, you know, it's probably fair to say that a little bit too much attention has been placed on him since he came to West Ham. And, you know, you kind of get the feeling that from some sections of the media, from the press, that the reason we've been doing so well is purely down to Lingard in much the same way in some respects as was the case when Tevez was here, you know, in that final run-in. And obviously we all know what happened there. Not the first 21 games he was at West Ham, of course, I hasten to add, because he didn't score. But
yeah,
when Lingard's not firing, do you feel that this current West Ham team are, you know, struggling a little bit?
I think, yeah, but not quite for that reason.
Okay.
It's a little bit more in recent weeks, because of the fact that we've had you know, the various injuries. Noble came in to replace Rice, and now Noble's injured, so he's been forced in recent weeks into a slightly different role.
Yeah,
and which he needs to restrain. Because of that, he's in a position where he needs to be a little bit more restrained, play with a little less freedom than he was. I mean, yeah, away at Villa, his first game, he was all over the pitch and was, you know, basically give the ball to him and see what he could do. Because of the personnel changes, then he's not been able to play with that freedom, and consequently, his, you know, if you're looking at pure goal scoring stats, well, they are going to tail off a bit. I mean, they're going to tail off a bit anyway, because, yeah, scoring an average of a goal a game and all that, nobody's going to keep that up all season anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, it's a case of you know, we're saying we're not creative enough and all that. Who are the creative players who we've got in the squad at the moment? And you know, we've seen that we know what Lanzini can do, or the Lanzini of the past can do. So what happens? Lanzini's injured. You know, it's and that's the big concern I've got on this, because he's been good. He was good, superb earlier on this week, and threadbare squad, as we've said on here a million one times. And what little creativity we've got is it's going to be sitting there with somebody plastering gel and an ultrasound over his hamstring for the next couple of weeks. You know, I doubt. Well, it remains to be seen how bad it is, but I suspect we may have seen the last of Lanzini this season, for example. Declan's a week closer to a return, which is good news. I mean, he's not that sort of creative player, but it means you'll get players playing a little bit more in their normal positions, because, you know, we've had Lanzini and then Natalie Fornals dropping into that middle position today. Well, Rice comes back. You've got Rice and Souček, the sort of golden pair in there. Then Fornals can be, you know, looked on as more of an attacking force. So, yeah, as one goes out, one comes in. That would be a help. But as I say, we saw the last 20 minutes. We had Soufal playing on the left and Fredericks on the right, and we saw from that Soufal shot towards the end. Yeah, we were saying he should shoot more often, and he hit the post. And then we saw that one towards the end. I'm thinking maybe he shouldn't, but yeah, it's disappointing. We do lack creativity because we lack numbers.
Well, one thing we're also lacking at the moment is points on the table, because looking at our recent results, that's 3 defeats in our last 4 games now. Pinky lost at Newcastle, of course, beaten by Chelsea, managed to win up at Burnley, but defeat against Everton again today. It's relegation form, isn't it, in one sense? But I'm guessing you're going to say that this comes back to what we've been, or you've been saying anyway, for a long time, is that we've just simply run out of bodies. We've got to the stage of the season, and we've made this point time and time again throughout the season, especially in January at the end of the transfer window, that at some point our luck's going to run out. We were very fortunate in terms of the number of injuries in the first half of the season, but You know, it all started with Antonio, didn't it? And then we saw a succession of injuries: Angelo Bonner, Declan Rice, Masuaku, of course, has been missing for at least half the season, and it's just killed us, hasn't it?
It's made it very difficult. I'm not completely giving up hope because, you know, none of us know, well, who could be back next week, you know, and we don't know the state of some of the other team squads at this point in time, but it's certainly made it harder than it needs to be. And you know, I made the comment earlier, Everton don't get that goal today if Declan Rice is on the pitch, because you know, you've seen Lanzini when, you know, Godfrey played the ball through. I reckon Rice would have actually been shutting Godfrey down at that point, and Godfrey, he looks up and sees Declan Rice running at him. He's not as composed on the ball as he is when Manuel Lanzini is standing 5 or 6 yards off him. So that's one clear-cut example. Ogbonna been our best defender now for you know, a couple of seasons.
Yeah,
we've played far too many games recently without him. You know, and again, you know, who knew that a 33-year-old centre back is going to get injured? Who could possibly forecast that? Similarly, you know, what is now 34-year-old central midfielder in Mark Noble? Who could possibly forecast that a player is going to get injured at that age and take longer to recover? So all of these things are utterly predictable. The chairman, of course, will say, well, look, yeah, I know that as well, but the problem is I haven't got the money, you know, and which is a fair point until we point to the elephant in the room, which is the 30 million quid that allegedly has been spent on Said Benrahma, who has made relatively little impact. And it's unfortunate for him as a player because today, I don't think he did enough. And I don't think he did enough today because I think he was playing opponents that worked a bit harder and actually, you know, gave him less time on the ball. I think he did some things okay today, but the performance against Burnley, I think, was kind of a false performance because of the way Burnley were playing. The performance against Everton, well, that's what you're going to be up against most weeks in this division. And for the money we've spent on him, he hasn't done enough. On the positive front today, I thought Issa Diop did much, much better today. You know, so quite happy with what I saw there. But overall, it's just this lack of bodies. I mean, Rio's touched on it. Set piece goals have dried up.
Yes.
Yeah, because when you've actually only got Souček as the threat there, as opposed to two players maybe marking Declan Rice to create the space for Souček, then or Ogbonna to create the space for Souček. That's why your set piece goals dry up, because they don't have to put men marking other fairly big players.
Yeah.
So undoubtedly, we've run out of bodies, we're running out of legs. I think David Moyes has done an outstanding job in terms of managing the squad to try and keep them fresh. I don't think the likes of Bowen have actually been dropped. I think they're legitimately being rested because, again, they've all got these GPS vests on that they wear. The technical staff at the club, they will know when players are tired, and they monitor everything on these players, and they'll be looking at the likes of Jared Bowen and going, you know, Mr. Moyes, if you play him for 90 minutes after 70, he's going to run the risk of injury, and we can tell you that now because here's all his stats. When he gets tired in a game, and when you get tired, that's when you get the muscle injuries. So they're all kind of like slots together. Too small a squad of the right caliber, too many injuries coming because you're overplaying players. You know, Rice had played, 100 matches near as damn it without missing a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, he's good, but he's not Superman. So it's hard now. Everton have done the job on us today. I mean, I said it in commentary. I'll be honest with you. I don't think Everton supporters will want to watch that every week. And, you know, maybe that's Ancelotti going, well, there's no one in our stadium watching us, and to play like this away from home is quite normal, you know. But you're looking at that going, it's pretty ugly. The one bit of really good play from their team today, I thought, was Calvert-Lewin. He genuinely looks like a good striker.
Yeah.
for my money. You know, he's banged in 16 goals this season for them. And where's our 16-goal season striker? You know, and we keep coming back to it. David Moyes is having to deal with the sins committed by certainly Pellegrini to some extent. Although, for my money today, I think our best player today was a Pellegrini signing in Pablo Fornals. He played a peach of a pass to Soufal when Soufal hit the post.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, without wishing to really get stuck into Benrahma too much, Benrahma watches the game when he gets in tonight, you know, with his kebab or whatever he has for his post-match meal, and he'll sit there and he wanders the tape. That decision by Fornals to release Soufal there, that one pass, that's the standard. And, you know, we saw some good things from Said today, some challenges, but for 30 million quid, did he ever look like unlocking the Everton defence? No.
Well, I mean, I guess the question is, does he ever look like unlocking anyone's defence? I mean, he played very well against Burnley, of course, last week. But, you know, we sit here continuously, don't we, week in, week out, saying, well, you know, we expect a little bit more. You know, he needs to make the right choice or better choices in certain situations. And it's just not coming off. And, of course, you know, when the club is bereft of transfer funds, as it is currently, you know, I guess when we look back at this season, you're going to be looking at the funding of that particular transfer, and as you say, you know, it's cost the club £30 million, and you know, it just makes you wonder. Perhaps you know, an Ivan Toney even, or you know, a dedicated striker, someone like that might have been a better choice, or even a couple of players to fill the squad out a little bit.
I maintain the issue there was to shift Seb Haller. The price we paid was we had to bring in Benrahma. And I think, again, you know, we've got the agent's involvement in the background, and it's kind of like, and I think I'm right in saying that Haller's joined the same agency now that a number of our players have, although interestingly, he wasn't with that agency when he was at West Ham. So I just wonder, you know, what deal was offered to Haller to get him out of our club, and what deal did the chairman do with an agent to make that happen, and therefore effectively brought Benrahma into the club. You know, we all assume against the manager's wishes, because the manager's looking at it going, look, you know, if it's limited funds, you've got to let me decide where I'm spending it.
Yeah.
And we've now got talk of a manager. You know, we're on on the brink of potentially qualifying for the Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
And we're now reading press speculation that the manager's contract talks are on hold again. You know, the chairman not sure what sort of income the club's going to have next year. And just at the wrong moment, we're getting some negativity around it. And it just comes back to the same thing time and time again. We haven't quite got the money to buy the players to allow us to compete at this stage. Yeah,
it's interesting. I mean, some rumours circulating about those contract talks. Of course, it was revealed earlier in the week that although David Moyes, of course, secured an additional year, there was a clause in his previous contract that was triggered in February to extend his stay by another year. Talks are on hold at the moment, but of course, it has been rumoured. There are noises coming out that it might not just be about finances. It might be a question of who has the final say on those particular transfers. We're hearing that as well from our sources at the club. There might be more to that than just money. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But anyway, I did say earlier on that we'll be taking your questions, and there hasn't exactly been a deluge of questions for the boys, but there is one here anyway from Mark Richardson. Rio, I'll throw this to you as your next up for chat. Before I do that though, Gnome, have we had anything from Mr. Moyes yet?
Not yet. No, they've just had Ancelotti on, which I didn't really pay any attention to. I was listening to Pinky, I'll be honest, but I was going to wait for a transcript for Ancelotti, but still waiting for Moyes at the moment. So I'll wave at you when he comes up.
Give me the signal when he comes on. Rio, Mark Richardson says, and it's a point I think Pinky was actually talking about earlier. He says, does that Everton side remind you of watching Sam Allardyce's West Ham when we had Sacco and Valencia up front? What do you think of that? Any? Oh, we're on. Moyes is on. We'll come back to that in a minute, but we'll go over to Rio first for that question from Mark Richardson. Any similarities there?
Not for me, because I actually thought under Allardyce we played some attractive football at times. What we saw from Everton today was Tony Pulis-esque, not Allardyce-esque. It was a complete dogs of war, backs to the wall. You break us down, otherwise we ain't got no interest in anything else.
Yeah.
That Sacco and Valencia season, it was quite entertaining at times. So I thoroughly enjoyed watching us.
Yeah.
And we almost sparked into the top 4 that season at one point, up until Christmas when the wheels come off and the transfer funds dried up. That's the most biggest similarity between it.
It's an interesting
but
one,
not the
actually,
Everton
because that kind of wrote the Allardyce thread came alive again, or the talk of Allardyce came alive this week on the forum, and yet again I found myself unwittingly defending Sam Allardyce's reign at West Ham. People were saying how dull and dreary his entire spell was, and I was kind of moved to point out that Allardyce, albeit in the Championship, broke the club record for number of away wins in the season. That year when we won 13 or 14 games, whatever it was. And of course, we certainly had our moments, didn't we, under Allardyce? And Sacco, great season. Valencia, of course, had his moments. Was it Hull scored that incredible goal with no backlift from the edge of the box, where he kind of just and just launched a rocket? But there were some good moments, weren't there? It certainly wasn't all entirely attritional, but I guess you can see some similarities there with that. And Pinky, of course, made the point that Everton fans have been saying that there's not much difference between watching the Ancelotti team in comparison to Allardyce's time there. But at the end of the day, they've got the 3 points today, and they're going to be the happier of the squads anyway, the clubs, and maybe not the supporters. Everton, I guess, like West Ham, demand a little bit more from their teams than just results. They want to be entertained, of course. One man who certainly wasn't entertained this afternoon is David Moyes. I'm not sure if Gnome has finished. I think he's still watching it there because he hasn't given me the signal. So we'll come back to Gnome again in just a minute. But I'll throw that one over to Pinky. Of course, if anyone's got any questions for the team, post them on YouTube chat. We'll take them before the end of the stream. Any questions for Pinky, for Rio, for Gnome, or for all of us, just fire your questions in. As I say, it can be about today's game, about West Ham in general, anything to do with the site or whatever. But if you've got any questions for us, just fire them in there now, on the YouTube chat. Pinky, what's your view on that one, the Allardyce comment? As I said, Mark Richards asked, does that Everton side remind you of watching Big Sam's West Ham when we had Sacco and Valencia up front?
I think it reminds me of the sort of the reputation that Big Sam's side would have had, which in the time Sam was at West Ham, we saw the good, the bad, and the ugly. We saw everything, and we weren't ugly every week, and we weren't good every week. My personal bugbear was the 4-0 away at Watford in the Championship, I think it was, where we went a goal up early doors, and I saw Allardyce turn, I think it was Jack Collison, and say, right, just tuck in now. And I'm thinking, please, do we have to do that? But like every other manager, he's only interested in winning games of football. And Carlo Ancelotti there today, he'll be there. He'll go to his chairman on Monday and go, I don't really care what the supporters think.
Yeah.
We won away again against a team who were higher up the league table than us. Tell me why that's bad football. That's what the professionals are going to say. They're going to say, tell me why that's bad football to beat a team further up the table than you away from home. And if England won the World Cup playing like that, there isn't a football supporter in the country who'd be sat here going, not really very good, that, it's not really what you're up. So I kind of get why managers do it. And I wouldn't want to watch it every single week. But today, what Everton did was a thoroughly professional job. And you know, they've got the relatively early goal, and then they've just said, come and break us down. And we can all say, yeah, it was Sunday league football and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But you know what? The opinions on grand old team, the first 20 minutes, Seamus Coleman was the devil incarnate. For the last 20 minutes, he was the best fullback they've ever seen. You know, and there was a moment 10, 15 minutes before the end of the game when Jesse Lingard had the ball and Coleman was shunting him down the line, just forcing him back towards our goal, giving him absolutely nothing. And I will tell you something, Carlo Ancelotti would have gone into that dressing room, got hold of Seamus Coleman and said, you absolute double mustard superstar, because that's how you win games of football in this division. And that's the name of the game, is winning games of football. And Seamus Coleman this afternoon, the Everton skipper, gave a captain's performance there in the second half. And I think what we lacked a little bit today was that proper on-pitch leadership in terms of we've got to do something a bit different here today. And again, same old things, you know, whether Rice is missing or Noble's missing, the two sort of regular skippers, they're not there. Aaron's fine. He goes off injured. And then you've got Ryan Fredericks putting on the skipper's armband. Do me a favour. Yeah. Who's going to listen to him? You know, it's like you only get a game if we've got 30 players injured. Yeah. So it's that. So I think Ancelotti's done some professional there. He would argue he's without his sort of star player. But I think that's about the only one they were missing today. You know, but if he gets into Europe with that, I don't think you'll find too many Everton fans complaining. That's for sure. And if we miss out on Europe, you know, we'll be looking at that going, maybe if we had a little bit more pragmatism about what we're doing, we might have just got over the line. So for me, you know, we all know the style of football that the question referred to. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's awful. But today for Everton, it was crucial because that got them 3 points, and we've got nothing. So tell me why their football was bad.
Yeah, no, it's a fair point. It's a good argument you make. But someone who is going to be particularly disappointed with the way his team played is David Moyes. He's seen his West Ham side beaten by his former club Everton in what was maybe not a must-win game, but probably a must-not-lose if West Ham's Champions League hopes were to be carried into the next or the final three fixtures. He's been talking to Sky Sports about the game. Gnome has been tuning in and listening intently to what was being said, and he's now going to regale us with the manager's comments. Gnome, what did Moyes have to say?
From what he said, he wasn't too disappointed with the way the team played. You know, we kept possession well. The way he looked at it was that they needed, the comment was that we just needed something to fall for us in the box. And he said maybe on occasions this season, those things that have fallen for us nicely in the box have done so. But, you know, we didn't get it. We got really nothing. We had no breaks today. We mentioned earlier on the Soufal effort that hit the post. And just aside from that, we thought Bowen might have been given offside. I've just had a look at it, and I don't think he would.
Okay.
Pioneer of the camera that probably had a good foot on him. And when the ball came back off the post, Bowen was actually in mid-air, having sort of jumped over the body of Pickford. And Moyes was pointed out to Moyes, and he said, "Yeah, another day Bowen can actually get a little bit more on that."
Yeah.
Another day, Benrahma gets the header right. So he said, "Does that mean goodbye Champions League?" And he said, "Well, we're just going to go keep going as high as we can." He said, "It's likely to be European football." It was pointed out to him, and he said, "Well, we keep aiming for the stars." He said, "Yes, I'm very disappointed today with the result, but overall," he says,
the comment he made was, he says, I don't think the players have overachieved. A lot of people are saying that, but he says, I know these players, and I think that they're capable of more. And he did give Everton credit, well, when prompted to, anyway. The comment was, the Everton credit. He said, "Oh yes, they made it incredibly difficult for us. They got players behind the ball, and as I said, and he repeated that we just needed something to fall for us in the box, and it just didn't happen."
Yeah.
I've also got the transcript has just come up with Ancelotti's comments.
Okay.
I'll just scan through those quickly. We defended well. It wasn't easy, but we covered the spaces in between well, and we tried to play on the counter attack. Second half, we could have done better, but it didn't matter in the end. All the times we've won away, we've done so with this kind of performance. And with this, we've won 11 away games, which is a lot. We knew it was a vital game because if we lost, we were out of European contention. No doubt because West Ham would go up. So it was vital. We're still in the fight. I'm not concerned about possession West Ham had, because possession doesn't mean you score goals. We're not a possession team because we have different qualities. The correlation between possession and victory is not for football. It's for another sport. We knew this was a vital game. We've got another one on Thursday night against Villa. We have to be ready. The attitude is the base of this team, and without that attitude, we're dead. So that was Ancelotti's comment. Moyes is saying, it was a game of few chances. He said, I don't think they had much in the way of chances, really, which is a fair comment. But so bemoaning his luck a little bit.
Was there anything specific on Ben Rama? I know he touched on it there, but was he pushed to talk about that chance?
Not really. It was noticeable during midweek or Monday, whenever it was when we last did this. His comments on Ben Rama were, he acknowledged he played well, but he said he said we do need that consistency from him. But he didn't comment on any particular players. He did comment that we gave the goal away a little bit without singling out anybody like Dawson, for example, like we have. But there was no real sort of. I think he was more content to praise the players for the season as a whole.
Yeah.
Rather than sort of pick on this game in particular where things didn't go for us. Okay. And as I say, the telling comment was that some say that they've overachieved. He said, but I don't think they have. I think we can get more out of them. So give you his attitude there.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you, Gnome, for keeping an ear out for those. Another question that I want to put round the table right now. This one coming in from Hobo Changba. Hobo's saying that, asking, did anyone feel disappointed when Ancelotti went to Everton and we re-signed Moyes? When was it? A year and a half ago now. It's fairly sure there were rumblings on the forum to that effect, but no, I'll throw that one over to you first of all. Were you disappointed that we didn't manage to grab Ancelotti?
Sorry, I just slightly put off by a lovely message that came across my screen in front of me there, so which kind of puts you off. I'll admit that I was disappointed when Moyes arrived both times, the first season he kind of got did enough to keep us up. Got a little bit stiff by the management. And I said right at the time it might be interesting because I think all of us said at that point that it might be interesting to see what we'd get if we actually had a team that Moyes could build. Yeah. And of course, the first season he was there till it was just a short-term deal anyway, and off he went. And he came in last season again having to rebuild with somebody else's tools. So what I've seen this season, hands up, we played some great football at times, and hands up, he's proved me wrong. And and I've never had any sort of personal gripe against him. I've sat in press conferences when we were allowed in, and he strikes me as a good, honest honest, respectable, decent bloke. And just at times, what I've seen of him from teams in the past, I wasn't impressed with the style of football that some of his teams played. Now,
yeah,
as opposed to, was I disappointed that Ancelotti went up to Everton? I don't know, because my thinking was that we'd had Pellegrini and the big sort of foreign name signing. Ancelotti at the time, some of his team's stuff hadn't over-impressed me. I was maybe disappointed we hadn't gone for somebody else, but one of the problems we had was who was available.
Yeah,
and it's all very well saying, I say, well, I'm disappointed we got Moyes in, but being pragmatic about it, who else was there? Bielsa was being touted around a year or two earlier, and and Pinky was mentioning that his Leeds team good to watch. He seems to have calmed down a bit, and because at the time when he was being touted about 2-3 years ago, when you looked at the sort of background, some of the stories that were coming out, I got a feeling it might have been a bit of a car crash at that time, especially the way the club was being run. Now, he seems to, as I say, sobered up a bit. No, sorry, I didn't mean to insert any. I didn't mean to suggest he's drunk. I mean, in terms of temperament rather than alcohol. Rescued that one there for you, Greg. But he seems to have simmered down a bit, sort of thing, and maybe sort of if we've been looking for a manager now, then yeah. But I'm quite happy with the job that Moyes has done, particularly this season. I mean, there've been times we've sitting there, I've been sitting there watching it, and you've seen me clap, genuinely sort of. Yeah. So I don't know about Ancelotti. Yeah, I was disappointed with Moyes. I was wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff. I should just add that the views and the opinions expressed by a contributor are those of the highlighted contributor and do not necessarily represent or reflect the official policy or position of KUMB.com. Rio.
I would like to point out on behalf of both myself and KUMB.com that I did not mean to suggest it anyway. Shape or form. Enjoys a drink too much. I meant more of the temple off here.
It's been that sort of year, gentlemen, isn't it? And you'll know exactly what I mean.
Yeah. And I apologise if I implied otherwise.
Not at all. Not at all. We all knew what you meant. Just having a bit of fun, pulling your leg there, my friend.
Yeah, but
Rio,
as for that pisshead, insert name and manager.
Rio, the question from Hobo was about Ancelotti. Were you disappointed? Do you think it could have made a West Ham manager, or do you think it was another Sam Allardyce in the making, and one that would have split the fan base in much the same way as Big Sam did?
I don't think it would have split the fan base because of his sheer reputation, his achievements in winning trophies domestically and in Europe. I think the fans would have welcomed him with open arms because, let's be honest, there's a lot of the younger generation of fans who are kind of swayed by bigger names rather than looking at the bigger picture. So I think Ancelotti, the calibre of his career, would have been welcomed. And on the face of it, David Moyes was a choice which didn't inspire anybody. He came here, he didn't fail the first time around. He did exactly what was asked of him, but he was rather curtly dismissed. And no one really said, well, that's gutting. I wish we kept him. When we rehired him, everyone was equally disappointed because he seemed like he was a busted flush as a manager.
Yeah.
He'd been at Manchester United in a thankless task of replacing Ferguson. No one was going to succeed doing that. He went to Sunderland, failed. He went to Spain, largely failed. He was in the footballing wilderness. He was almost seemingly unemployable because even when he left us, he didn't walk into another job.
Yeah.
He was like frozen out of football. He was the man that nobody wanted. Not even our owners the first time round. So him coming back, it spoke volumes about the man himself and also our ownership. They've had to backtrack and come cap in hand going, oh, please, sir, give us another chance.
Can we have some more?
He was at last chance alone. He couldn't really turn down. Thankfully, his tenure this time round, and he slowly won me over. You know, the way that he's gone about things. Let's just not take. Let's not just factor in on our league position at the moment. That he's bought incredibly well. He's coached. He's got assembled a coaching team. Everyone seems to like. Just look at the team spirit we've got. You know, all those kind of things are building up. And if we'd finished 10th, 11th, 12th this season, I still would have been happy because nobody expected that, anything more than that. But what he's doing, he's building a squad, he's building a side, and he's doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
If you look at what the style of play, Ancelotti did today what David Moyes has been doing to teams all season. So the style of the play aren't wholly different. I think we've got, if you look at it that way, we've got a cut price, Ancelotti. And as we know, that our board love to do things rather on the cheap. So who are we to moan that we saved a few pennies here and there? And I'm actually glad we got hit. I'm actually glad we got Moyes rather than Carlo.
Excellent. Okay, it's interesting. Pinky, talking about I'll throw this one to you. The other guys have had their say on this one. Rio, talking about Moyes, said he was effectively in the football wilderness, frozen out of football, basically, and he was somebody nobody else wanted. Did you want Ancelotti here? What do you think he would have made it at West Ham? And sort of in retrospect, are you glad that he didn't come now?
Strange, because I actually thought at the time it's more the lack of us being linked with him. I'm looking at it thinking, we're West Ham United. We're not a pub club. We're a good size, well-established Premier League football club that have won trophies in our time. A pretty big one once upon a time as well. And so we're not unknowns. Okay. But it's the fact we're never linked with that kind of manager, not even in passing. And yet Everton Football Club showed the ambition, got in touch with Ancelotti's representatives and did the deal. Now, at £11 million, I touched it in commentary. You might question the motives of what Ancelotti's really gone to Everton for. That's a huge sum of money, to sort of Now, I could argue, to get me to work on Merseyside, it'd probably take a similar fee. But, it's a lot of money, and there's not a chance that our chairman would ever be paying any manager that kind of salary. It's just not going to happen. And I think the other aspect to it is a manager that's won the league in 4 different European countries with different clubs going to put up with the chairman that picks players. Now Ancelotti would have come across plenty of interfering chairmen in his time in Spain and Italy. Don't mean any doubt about that. But actually, on the crucial issue of who signs the players, I suspect Ancelotti's had the final say an awful lot of the time.
Yeah.
And where he maybe hasn't had it, and I suggest at Real Madrid that might be a club where the president gets a bit of a say. The rules are known, but you might think, do you know what? I'll put up with it at Real Madrid because the president, it's a choice between signing Figo or Zidane. So, if I get both, it's great. If I only get one of them, we're fine.
We'll
it's
get
a
by.
little bit more, shall I call it, impactful at West Ham United when you're not signing Figo or Zidane. You're signing Ben Rama or another. And so for my money, disappointed that we weren't linked with him. He'd never have come anyway. and we'd never have paid the money. In terms of David Moyes' availability and the idea that no one else wanted him, I think, to be fair, that applies to an awful lot of football managers. You know, it's a profession that most Premier League managers don't get a second go at managing a Premier League club. So if you look at the number of managers that go through the Premier League who only ever manage one Premier League club, it's a very, very long list. For David Moyes, Everton Football Club, Manchester United, and West Ham United twice, and I think Sunderland, another club, I think at the time in the Premier League. You know, so he's got something about him. You know, he's not a mug. And what we saw today was the great Carlo Ancelotti, winner of numerous trophies all over Europe, unlimited budgets all over Europe, has gone to Sam Allardyce's rule book today and he's gone, right, how do you win a game of football away from home in England? That's how you do it. Okay, so, and you know, for that match today, Ancelotti's been paid £250,000. And the Everton supporters are saying it's like watching a Sam Allardyce team. You know, posters on KUMB in the forum this afternoon, you know, you couldn't watch it. Hobo's comment was about, that's a tough watch, you know, to watch that. And of course, what it boils down to is, as long as you win and it moves you up the table, supporters will put up with it. As soon as you stop moving up the table with that kind of football, supporters at any football club will say, we're not having that, you know, we're better than that. But you know, today he's done the job today. I suspect quite a lot of their away wins this season have come like that, if I'm being honest. But does it matter? Supporters aren't in the ground. And if he gets them into Europe with that, will their supporters really care? I don't think so.
No. No, well, they've certainly had plenty of wins on the road, haven't they? 11 now, only bettered by Manchester City, who have 13 in the Premier League. So, you know, it was, I don't know. I've got to say, I don't know how they've been playing away from home, but you know, I think you've absolutely hit the nail on the head there, Pinky, in that, you know, while your team is winning, you can stomach that kind of football, but would you want to watch it every week? Well, we're seeing the answer on the grand old team forum, aren't we?
We are, but let me just spin it a bit here. A manager I praised earlier in terms of attractiveness of football, Bielsa. If you got relegated with Bielsa playing his all-out attack, would you keep him as a manager to get you out of the Championship, per se? And if you got relegated 2 seasons running, all-out attack, because you've got no defence, yeah, at what point do you say the all-out attack is not the way to go?
Well, I mean, this is an age-old argument that crops up on the KUMB forum, isn't it, on a regular basis over the years. You know, lots of people saying they just want to be entertained. We had that thread, didn't we, earlier in the season about, you know, are you being entertained? Of course, we'll all remember that one. And people not happy with the style of football. But it's got us where we are, and Everton in a similar boat. So I'm sure that that argument will rage on for as long as the football is being kicked around the field. West Ham fans, of course, we like to be entertained, but of course, as I always maintain, there's no fun in losing football matches every week. But anyway, it's an interesting debate. There is no right and wrong, and of course, it's one that will, as I say, rage on. We're coming to the end of this afternoon's transmission, and just got a couple of things I want to go. So I'm not going to go to the forums this week because I think, Rio, we know what it's going to be like on Knees Up Mother Brown on the KUMB.com forum. I'm sure everyone's going to be terribly unhappy after what they've seen. We've got a pretty good feeling for what it's going to be like on Grand Old Team because Pinky's already given us a fairly good indication of the disappointment of the victory, but the manner in which it was achieved this afternoon by Everton. But if you do want to know what the general views are from West Ham fans, get yourself over to KUMB.com, get yourself on the forum in the general discussion forum, and look for the Everton match thread, and you'll be able to find out what people are saying about that. Of course, if you want to find out what people are saying about individuals, I'm sure the David Moyes thread and the Said Ben Rama thread, to name but two, are going to be full of comments after this afternoon's game. So get yourself over there to the KUMB.com forum and join in the fun. Not much fun this afternoon, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. Before we do wrap up, we're going to take a regular look ahead to our next match. That is next Saturday, the first of 3 games in 8 days that will determine where West Ham end this fascinating season. We have Southampton to come on the final day. The penultimate fixture is away at West Brom. But before that, we travel to the South Coast. Well, we don't, but the football team does because we're not allowed to. And won't be going to West Brom either, of course, after that debate this week involving the 20 Premier League clubs who decided that away fans won't be allowed in grounds until next season at the earliest. So it is to Brighton we go next week. Another one of those must-win games known for the Hammers. You said earlier that, it's just a question of keep going, I think was the phrase you used. However many games we've got to go and see where the season ends up. Is that how you feel about that one? And do you think it's one we really should be winning?
Yeah, we got. I'm just thinking we got 3 points, 3 games left, which is 9 points, which would give us a potential 67. I think we're on 58, aren't we? So what we do is we go out, we try and win all 3. That's where we end up. Other teams, well, there you go. That's what we've done. You can beat that, all well and good, but and we start on Saturday. Is it Saturday this weekend?
Saturday, yep. That right game, yep.
We've got kick-off time for that one, so I'm just trying to arrange my mental file of facts. So, but
I'll tell you, it's an 8 o'clock kick-off next Saturday. So
right, okay,
another late one.
Okay, Lou, if you're watching, it's my place Friday then. Anyway, it's a game I think that they're not as organised as Everton, but Brighton will not be as organised as Everton were today. I mean, what we saw today was, not my cup of tea. I'll put my hand up, but it was an exceptionally good defensive performance of how to stifle, how to keep out in opposition.
Yeah,
Brighton haven't got that in their locker from what I've seen this season. And they're also coming in on the back of they'll be missing 2 players. They've had 2 dismissed today. I can't remember. Mope was one.
Okay.
Who was the other one? So one was for a denial of goal scoring opportunity, the old Dogzo thing. The other one was for having a go at the ref after the whistle. So both of those straight reds. So I mean, it was the first game anyway. So however many games they're missing, those will be those 2 players will be missing, and they're not great in depth like ourselves. They're just about safe. I think it's unlikely that they'll go down, but I guess they've got that sort of slight mathematical nagging doubt at the back of the head that we only got rid of about 2 weeks ago when we did the maths ourselves. They really are there for the taking. Now, to counter that, we've lost Lanzini, and I fear that he may not be available. Cresswell again, he's not one to go down lightly, and clearly was he tried to play on it, but clearly it was causing him distress. Might be a little bit of I need to change things around here anyway, and let's save him for the last, make sure he's fit for the last 3, but still worrying. Bright side, there's a good chance that we might see Declan Rice back. I did have a slight amusing that I thought he might actually make the bench today at one point, not because of anything I had seen or heard. It's just that while I was watching the other match that was on beforehand, and they cut across to the London Stadium and showed players warming up, and Rice was down there on the pitch with the players, and I thought, and obviously. Clearly, he wasn't going to be available, but he has been training with the team on grass, so I think he's we might see something of him, which is will be a big thing for us.
Yes,
getting him back. So, yeah, I think I'm looking for 3 points next week, please.
Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. I mean, that's a really important point, isn't it? I mean, if indeed it's Mopé and Dunk who are missing Rio, that's two of Brighton's key players at opposite ends of the pitch. But of course, we haven't got the greatest record against Brighton, have we? I mean, we struggle against them year in, year out, certainly since they returned to the Premier League. And I think earlier in the season, when we played just after Christmas, wasn't it? We drew 2-2 and we had to come from behind twice to grab a point. Johnson and Souček scoring our goals on that day. It wasn't a particularly good performance from us. But that aside, Gnome's made the point very, very well that they're safe. They're not going down there, are they? I mean, they're 10 points or whatever it is clear of Fulham and West Brom, and they're still above Southampton and Burnley. But can we put this one to bed at last? Can we end this horrendous record against Hove Albion and secure those 3 points that give us a slight glimmer of remaining in the or finishing in the top four?
Yeah, most certainly. And I fully expect us to win next week. I just feel that we won't be allowed to put in a performance like we did today. I don't think Moyes would be happy with what he saw in terms of attacking outlet and creativity. He'll get into the players' heads about that all week.
Yeah,
we'll obviously get Declan Rice back with a bit of luck. They're missing two key players. I just think we won't make the same mistakes that we did today. Now, it's going to be a difficult proposition. Being away from home, it affords us a little bit more time and space normally. Now, we can always hit on the break a little bit more. It gives us another option. And dare I say it, one of our tools at our disposal, the set-piece goal, it's been long overdue for someone who's so prolific at it. We haven't had one for about 2 months now.
No,
we're going to get one of them next week. If not 2, if not 3. I'm going to call it now. If we get them back in the side, it'd be Rice, Ogbonna and Souček, all from set pieces next week. We're going to win 3-0.
There you go. You heard it here first. Rio predicting a 3-0 win for the Hammers, all from set pieces. We're still leading that particular chart, aren't we? I think, or I think it wasn't it 4 or 5 teams that scored 9, wasn't it? Us and Everton and Man City and someone else I didn't see in that caption that Gnome always looks for in the.
It was a slightly changed caption this week because it normally comes up to set piece goals, but this time it was goals from corners, so they'd know it's down. So I think weren't we in double figures for set pieces? You count all set pieces.
I think you're right. It was 11 or something, wasn't it?
Next week they come up with goals from scraping the bottom of the barrel.
We'll end up with expected set pieces. How many free kicks you ought to have got or were expecting to get?
I'm glad you mentioned that actually, Gnome, because I've got a statistic for you.
I knew I thought we were going to get away with it this week.
Thank you for the reminder. West Ham's expected goals today 1.31. Everton's 1.54, so nothing in it in terms of the expected goals. Gnome's favourite statistic that he always looks out for every week.
And avoids.
and avoids, if he possibly can. Pinky, Brighton, the Goldstone Ground, the Withdean Stadium. Not sure where they play. Where are they now? What's the totally
the Amex?
The Amex, of course. Not the Falmer, the Goldstone. The Amex, of course. Lovely ground these days, but struggling a bit.
Away ground. It's my least favourite away ground.
Your least favourite? Why is that?
Nowhere to park. It's on a university campus, and it's just murder. It's just murder. A midweek game there, you get out full time.
Yeah.
You'll queue for 45 minutes for an hour to get on a bus to drag you 3 or 4 miles into town or off to the race course to pick your motor up and all the rest of it. It's an utter pain in the backside. And with all due respect to Kieran Maguire, who we had on a podcast a month or 2 back.
Yes. Big Albion fan.
I wouldn't miss Brighton and Hove Albion in the top flight for that reason and that reason alone. Nothing to do with their football or anything like that. It's a crap out of town stadium with no infrastructure to move, 25,000 people in and out in double quick time. Stop if it sounds familiar to a stadium near us. But in terms of the game next week, yeah, because I think Burnley will beat Fulham tomorrow night, which will guarantee Brighton as being safe. And I think as soon as Burnley win tomorrow night, then the Brighton's players will be, let's open up a bottle of shampoo, lads, and have a bit of a party. And they'll just take the foot off the gas for 2 or 3%, and that's the difference. Yeah, the key for me is if David Moyes can actually get it into our players' heads, we can still finish, in a good, strong position this season. Have the best season you're going to have, lads. Make sure you don't let yourself down at the death. And 3 wins on the spin now, and we'll be finishing 5th or 4th. Yeah. And if Moyes can get the positive message into the players' heads, backed up by maybe Declan coming back and saying, there you go, we've got some reinforcements. Maybe Ogbonna, who was on the bench today, maybe get him back so we don't give away the cheap goal that we gave away today. Then, yeah, I think we've got enough for Brighton. And then, the last couple of games, Saints will be well on the beach for the last game of the season. And West Brom, if their game this evening finishes the way it currently is, they're already in Division 2. So for my money, we can finish the season strongly, and that means, beating Brighton. The 2 sendings off they had today, thoroughly unprofessional, the second one, no question about it. And Harry Potter down there will be absolutely livid, because losing, your star centre-back, who, by the way, I think we should make a cheeky bid for in the summer, is bad enough. But to lose a second player for what is dissent is criminal. You're still not safe from relegation, and players are getting themselves sent off for not being able to control their gob.
Yeah.
That'd be a 2-week fine straight away.
Yeah.
Potter would be going bananas about that this evening. But yeah, so I think we'll beat them. And, we're still in with a shout.
Okay, good stuff. Optimism all round then for next week. Sorry, no.
Do you think Mopay might have been doing the Nolan Christmas break trick? Only went to go on his holidays a week or 2 early. Man, Nolan always used to get booked.
And Pepe's just scored a second for Arsenal, by the way.
All right.
But the second player on my transfer target list for this summer, Smith Rowe at Arsenal, one of their bright up and coming stars, and one of the things I'm looking forward to and want to see from West Ham. Let's start targeting players who we wouldn't normally be associated with, and show some ambition. Does it have to be a foreign player none of us have heard of, or can we actually look at some of the bright up and coming players in English football and say, do you know what, we'll have a bit of you, Smith Rowe, because you've got something about you at Arsenal, and start putting the knife into one or two of these clubs that do it to us with monotonous regularity.
Okay,
it's not a bad finish from Pepe there, is it?
No, Pepe, good strike that.
Finally coming good for his £72 million. I'm glad you mentioned that, actually, Pinky, because we are going to wrap up now. We're going to call it a day there, but I did ask the team for questions, and Mark Richardson has been kind enough to put one to us. So I'd like to get a very, very, very quick answer from you all, if we can, before you go. Pinky's just given us our answer on this one, because Mark asks, who's the striker? Could say who is the player, not necessarily striker, but who is the striker you would like us to go out and sign in the summer? In no more than 30 seconds, Rio, over to you. Putting you on the spot there.
Yeah, I'm stumped. I've got so many on my list. It's hard to narrow it down. But I wouldn't mind seeing us go if we're going to go for a lower level player. bit hungry, bit something to prove than Ivan Toney.
Do you think we could get him? Do you think he's attainable?
I think he is. I think definitely. The only thing that might put us off is the 35 million alleged asking price.
Yeah,
But there's a few European options. I'm quite keen on as well.
Go on then, quickly chuck them in. Let's hear them.
Oh, no, because a lot of other clubs. There's a couple of French players playing in the French league.
Yeah,
we've got very similar to Antonio.
Yeah,
who really would fit the bill. We need powerful, strong runners who are going to work their nuts off. And a couple in France are doing just that.
Okay, good stuff. Ivan Toney says Rio, 31 goals in the Championship for Brentford this season. Could be playing in the Premier League anyway. This, you know, if the Bees manage to make it through the playoffs, who knows? But Gnome, who would you like to see David Moyes sign in the summer? What striker?
I don't know. It's not one I've given an awful lot of thought, given that the second that the transfer window shut, I knew we weren't getting a striker in, so I stopped thinking about it. I just didn't want to depress myself. Calvert-Lewin finished well today. Let's stick a cheeky bid in for him. No chance of getting him, obviously, but yeah, it's something. Sorry, Mark. He's asked the question, and it's something, one of those ones I'd like to have a think about, sort of thing, and have to do the research on. Right. I mean, Tony's getting good write-ups. I've not seen enough of him to comment, but I'm just thinking I'm a bit wary of doing business with Brentford because we got Ben Rama, who's all the best one in the world, hasn't really pulled up any trees. We were linked along a couple of seasons ago. What was the player? Scott
Hogan.
Went to Villa.
Oh, the other Brentford striker, you mean?
Yeah, who was scoring goals.
Watkins, Ollie Watkins.
Went to Villa and probably disappeared. Armfield.
Oh, no. Don't know.
Yeah, went to Villa basically and disappeared off the face of the earth. So I've got Brentford have got this have this system that they have about their recruiting system, and it's all about sort of timing, and they know when to sell a player, and you sell a player kind of at his peak, and then watch him go down another club. And I've just got a funny feeling that with Tony, he was never really impressed up at Newcastle, and he's doing all right now. But I'll fully admit the research has not been done in this house on that one. So sorry, Mark.
No worries. We did sort of thrust that one upon you rather quickly. But I mean, Pinky, you've already given us Smith Rowe at Arsenal. Anyone else if we look at
strikers, there's two. Okay, and I'm in the market for no risk, guaranteed, dead certs, sort of area. Edison Cavani's out of contract at Manchester United at the end of the season. I would break the bank in terms of salary. I would pay him huge money to come and play at West Ham for a season, and just say you're only getting a 1-year deal, but here's more money than you could ever imagine at your age. So he'd be one that I'd target because there's no transfer fee involved.
Yeah.
And the other one, which is people will laugh at, but given the state of Real Madrid's finances, I would make a cheeky bid for Karim Benzema from Real Madrid and say, do you know what? Here's a 3-year deal, son. Come and finish your career in the Premier League and have a go. And if we got into the Champions League, either of those signings become a damn sight easier. And that's why it's really important we keep running every single minute of every game left.
Yeah.
So I don't think either of them will happen because Benzema would go West who, and Cavani, I suspect somebody with more money than West Ham United are going to say, here's a huge sum of money to keep going for a year. But they are two players who 100% know the job. And I think more than anything, if we're looking for a striker, I want proven, copper-bottomed, gold standard, no gambles. They can score goals and spend the money, yeah, and whether that's in terms of salary or a transfer fee, whatever it may be, yeah. You know, Haller was a gamble. It failed because he'd never played in this league before. Yeah. You know, Benzema, you could say, well, he's not played here. Would you take the chance? Yes, I would. I absolutely would. So there you go. Long shots, but if you don't ask, if you don't pick the phone up, you never know.
No, good stuff. So that's some good suggestions there. Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you for the question as well. Gnome, you want to come in quickly there?
Just a sort of an update. I've remembered the player that I was thinking of, Scott Hogan.
Scott Hogan.
Yeah, who was scoring goals for fun at Brentford, and we were getting links, and I think we all had. I think he was watched back in 2017 quite closely, and it was decided that that he might not be up to the standard. Villa bought him. He played 56 league games, managed to get 7 goals in those 56. Spent a lot of time out between 2019 2020 on loan, notably to Birmingham City, who he made the deal last year permanent with Birmingham. So that's how much Villa rated him. They flogged him to Birmingham. So
yeah.
And it's just, I mean, Southampton do the same sort of thing. The Portuguese lad we signed as a defender, they worked out that was precisely the time to sell him. And he played for us for about half a season and called it a day, didn't he?
Well, to be fair, I think he called it a day after he was slagged off by the Sullivan lads, wasn't he? Jose Fonte, yeah. I assume you're referring to.
Fonte, yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Ings Southampton, yeah. And I would take a punt on Woods from Burnley. Seriously, and you're thinking, I'm going from Cavani to Woods. What I want is a player that knows the job, because we've had 2 seasons now without them.
Yeah. Yep.
You know.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. It's for the record, Edison Cavani was 34 in February, so probably got another year or two. One of the best strikers out there. Why not? Why not? Who knows? It'd be a very West Ham-esque thing to do, wouldn't it? To take a punt. What about there is actually a former West Ham fan who's coming back to the Premier League next year, just been promoted. A young lad called Jordan Hugill. No, didn't think so.
Yeah, I mean, bless him. I don't know what that signing was all about, but
you made the point for me.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, let's put it this way. No.
Okay, Rio. No, don't fancy a return for Jordan.
We played a friendly over Dagenham just down the road from me.
We did.
And, on a really cold, wet Tuesday night.
It was.
And Jordan was the worst player on the pitch.
He was.
So, no, thank you.
I seem to recall him missing a sitter from about 3 yards, didn't he? Right in front of us in the way end that night. But yeah, it didn't really. Pinky, you don't fancy a Hugill return? No,
no. It's just my whole point. You know, long shots from the Championship. You know, yeah, great if they work, but they don't. And you need, you know, at the business end of the pitch, you need proven quality, experience, capability, whatever it may be. You need someone who's just got it. Yeah. And Hugill, bless him, will have a great career in the Championship. I mean, not being funny. I mean, it's not the worst job in the world, probably picking up 30, 40 grand a week, you know, for playing football. You know, I mean, it's easy to dismiss it, but, you know, he's having a good footballing career, but he's not Premier League standard. And you need players who, when they get one chance, 8 yards out, a clean header, yeah, hit the target. Because if we had that today, we'd have got a point today, not no points. And that's the difference. And you know, I'm sick of hearing our chairman tell us we haven't got any money. Well, do your job, David Sullivan and Karen Brady. Do your job. Go get some money. Go find some. Because do you know what? Mikel Arteta here at Arsenal, he's going to be going to Stan Kroenke and say, you need to give me some money. You know, whoever's managing Tottenham next year is going to go to Daniel Levy and say, find me some money. Carlo Ancelotti's going to go to the Everton chairman and say, find me some money. So why is the West Ham United manager the only manager who's expected to manage with no money? I don't get it. And why, as supporters, do we put up with it? I don't get it.
Well,
Rant's over, as the saying goes.
And what a perfect time to end today's show. That's it from us. Mark's asked for my answer. I don't know, Mark. I'm the worst person to ask. I think there's some merit in Pinky's suggestion of Woods. I mean, you know, traditional old-fashioned forward kind of player that we like at West Ham. Why not? Why not? He knows where the goal is. Ivan Toney, again, you know, he's 31 goals, whatever level, can't really be sniffed at. It's, you know, he certainly knows where the goal is. I like the look of the young lad at Sparta, Hlozek, but again, I think he's only 18, 19, so probably a bit young to be a starter. But anyone who knows where the goal is and anyone who's got two decent hamstrings that will last the whole season, I'd be quite happy with that. But just some backup really for Michail Antonio. So there you go. I hope that's sated your curiosity anyway, and we've given you some food for thought there. But anyway, as I said, that is it for today's show. West Ham United 0, Everton 1. Disappointing. A third defeat in 4 Premier League games for West Ham as the Champions League hopes diminish even further. But it's not over yet. Shall I ask the question? Let's ask the question. I'm not going to ask Gnome because he's not going to answer anyway. Very quickly, gentlemen. Pinky, Champions League, yes or no?
Yes.
Rio, Champions League, yes or no?
No.
Graham, Champions League, yes or no? Yes. Gnome, do you want to go?
No, I'm not playing that game.
Gnome's refusing to join in. He's taking his ball away.
I think I've made my position on this question very, very clear in the past.
I think you have. But there you go. There it is. So that's it for today. Thank you to everyone for joining us on the live stream. Thank you to my fellow teammates here, to the Pink Palermo, to Rio, and to Gnome.
Title.
And we shall see you again next Saturday as West Ham travel to the South Coast without our supporters for, in Pinky's words, the worst away game of the season. Down the A23 to Brighton, down to the coast. 3 games in 9 days. Brighton, West Brom, Southampton. Who knows where we're going to end up? Who knows how it's going to finish this incredible season? Well, we're going to find out soon enough, aren't we? Until then, till next Saturday, that's it from us. We'll see you again soon. Thank you for your company. Come on, you Irons.
Oh.